Dart be drafted ahead of Shedeur Sanders? Will we see 4 quarterbacks go in the first round?
Come October, my hair might be gray like Johnny's if we have to endure games like that every day, and if I have to see the reaction from a lot of you like that every single day. It is Kincade Salciunas after opening day. Oh boy, here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
This is Kincade and Salciunas.
My gut instinct is they're going to be good, but it almost feels like it's all or nothing this year. Bryce Harper's still going to be good this year.
90 games should be your floor when you have this much talent, this much pitching. This is a vibe of box ticking.
Kincade and Salciunas. John Kincade, Andrew Salciunas.
97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
And a good Friday morning, Philadelphia. I'm Andrew Salciunas alongside my man, John Kincade. Johnny, good morning. 1-0 are your fighting Phils, believe it or not.
And a good morning to you. I had a fun afternoon. It was fun to be able to watch baseball yesterday.
Oh, my God, it was amazing.
I enjoyed it so much. I enjoyed hearing the dulcet tones of Tom McCarthy.
Yep.
And the grumpy John Kruk.
Yep.
It was great.
I had the great moment of, I don't want to watch this. And I'm like, sorry, buddy, this is what I'm watching. So Coop walks away, goes to his playroom, and then I see him peering over the corner. Daddy, can I watch the game with you? And I was like, yes! Please,
Sure you can.
please come over here. Watch the Phillies game with me.
You want a proud one for you? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 texts
Oh, my
during the game
God.
from my 21-year-old daughter, who was riding the roller coaster like many were
I'm
yesterday.
sure she was.
But she was still keeping the faith. But riding the roller coaster of Game 1 of 162.
So we need to take a deep breath, like a collective deep breath. Like
Do we, though?
No,
We don't.
No, we don't. But like, I need the city of Philadelphia to
Oh,
take
my
a deep
gosh.
breath, so that like Delaware. Well, no, we have listeners in Delaware, so I need.
do.
I need Philadelphia,
I'll be there today.
Delaware, and Jersey, the southern part of Jersey, to all take a deep breath at the exact same time, and blow it in a direction so that like New York can feel the gust of wind. Like, because that's how many people were panicking yesterday. So later on in the show today, I'm telling you already, we're going to go through the receipts. We're going to take a look at some of the text messages and emails. Like I saw tweets for me, John, and Connor, but I saw a tweet from Silvana yesterday. So obviously, we don't broadcast the games.
Sure, we're not there. Broadcasting.
But we're live during the games. And I saw Silvana tweet out, oh, my God, the text messages that we're getting, because people are texting in to talk to Tyrone in real time, innings 1 through 6. I can only imagine what they were getting, because what I saw on social media.
Can you see them, Connor, or not?
I'm sure.
I can scroll back,
Okay.
but we probably got 1 billion.
We got
well,
so
yeah,
many.
I can
and we
only
have so many,
imagine.
too. That's unbelievable to me.
It was game 1. And we're going to break down the game like in the second segment, right? But, guys, really?
Let's look at that third inning at bat.
Yeah, like,
Seriously.
but really, is this really how all season's going to be? Because I don't know how anybody can enjoy themselves or how anybody can go through this. Like, seriously, if I watched the way that a lot of people watched the Phillies game yesterday, I'm not joking. My hair will be the same color as yours by the end of the season.
I don't understand.
Respectfully, you got a nice shade.
Thank
you
you.
have a nice shade.
I've never understood. It's the purple shampoo.
I hope I have your shade
You
one
got to
day.
pay for the purple shampoo. It's a quandary to me. The way that when you go into a season and you already know that every team's going to lose 50, and except for the White Sox last year,
Yeah.
who won on opening day, by the way.
Big time.
Every team's going to win 50. So if you go into a season knowing a third of the time you're going to lose, the greatest teams of all time are going to lose pretty much a third of the time. The overreaction to everything, I'll never understand it. And it's a fascination to me. I think because we're such a football city,
That has to be it.
that we're so used to living and dying with every Eagles game. If you want to overreact to an Eagles loss because of what it could mean down the line, go for it. This is crazy to me, though. I pulled up the 5 best, and I couldn't believe it.
Oh, well, we'll get to those later
Yep.
on the show. I can't wait for it. So here's our question today at 610-632-0975. We always like to start the show with a question that you can text in on, and that's going to be something that we will have throughout the course of the show, even though we like to throw some different things at you over the course of the 4 hours. Yesterday, we tried setting the bitch and complain guidelines. We can burn that.
Yeah, it's done.
Connor, I know you probably wrote it in like ink.
No, I didn't.
Oh, no, you didn't?
I knew it was dead from the second we
So you
started.
did.
Well, if
I've been fighting this fight for years.
If anybody at home wrote it, just burn it, because it's not going to happen. So today's question, is this going to be all season? Like, I'm legitimately asking for those of you who are the manic fans. So I'm not saying everybody.
No.
Not John, not me, not Connor. Now we have our group text where
we absolutely
Yeah,
get
we grouse.
We grouse.
But, like, half of it's tongue-in-cheek, except for my feelings on Brandon Marsh. But, like, other than that, like, we're going to grouse. But the season is over tweets that we saw yesterday. Is this going to be all season for those of you who are manic? And if you are one of those people that jumped already yesterday to the season's over conclusion, I got to ask you, what will it take this season for you to breathe a little bit? And you cannot answer with, well, when they win in the playoffs. Because here's the deal, Johnny.
Because then that means you held your breath, and you won't be around for the playoffs. You're going to be dead
You'll
by
be dead.
lunchtime.
Yeah.
You'll be dead by lunch.
And oh, by the way, I can't have conversation dead.
No.
Because it's 6 months. Like, we have 6 months until the playoffs start, okay? So if somebody is coming with the energy of, I just got to see it in the playoffs first, then we can't discuss anything for the next 6 months because the conversation is now over. So if you are one of these manic fans, what are you going to have to see? Because, Johnny, did we just forget how the pace of a baseball game could go?
Yes. And I think
Is that all it is?
I think that the first game, though, holds so much pressure because you build it up such a big deal.
Yeah, you're so excited for it.
So I'm going to give grace this morning because some of the stupidity that I saw yesterday on social media was, and by the way, some of it from media members that I'm friends with or that I follow, and I'm like, oh my gosh, for God's sakes, last year the Phillies got their teeth kicked in on opening day. Teeth kicked in.
Yeah.
A terrible collapse. And then beautiful season.
Yeah.
2 of the first 3 games last year against the Braves
Horrible.
were wet-the-bed performances.
Who won the division?
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand it, but I think people consume baseball like football.
And that's something that we need to not do.
Yeah, that's gotta
But
change.
it's getting worse and worse as the years go on, and I understand there's a lot of pressure. I mean, we literally did the show the other day about how the clock is ticking. Like, this is a World Series or bust kind of season, or NLCS versus Dodgers buster season. Like, you know what I mean? Like, whatever you want to term
Whatever way you want to put it,
it's
that's
deep
fine.
in the playoffs.
That's fine.
And if they don't get there, it's going to be a disappointing season. But again, I understand all the expectations you have, all the pressure you're putting on the Phillies. The Phillies deserve that pressure. They have done this to themselves with the way that they have ended their seasons against the Diamondbacks and Mets last year. So they deserve every bit of pressure. But to watch a game like yesterday as if it was win and get in is insane to me.
It seemed like the way people were consuming it. If you just read my timeline, it seemed like this was the old wild card game.
Right, the one-game wild card, yeah.
Where the whole season was riding on it. I get that. If I read my timeline yesterday and it's October, free pass.
Yeah, of course.
Free pass. It was March.
March 27th.
We haven't even gotten April yet.
It's unbelievable.
It was unbelievable.
All right, so if you are one of these manic fans, what's it going to take for you to kind of breathe this year? And please don't give us the playoffs thing because that's 6 months from now. And I would like to talk to you on a daily basis and not hear the same answer from you on a daily basis. You can text in at 610-632-0975. Now, coming up next, we'll talk about the game itself. It was a horrible start for the offense for 6 innings. But they won. So, the good, the bad, the ugly, we'll go through it coming up next. It is Kincade Salciunas on day 2 of the Major League Baseball season where half the league's off here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Mike Missanelli, Bill Colarulo, and Ray.
Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic, reacting to your reactions on
We're
opening
reacting
day.
to your reactions.
Yeah, we're going to react to the game this segment. But the majority of the show today is going to be reactions to your reactions during the game yesterday, which I couldn't believe. I can believe, but sometimes you're still surprised by just how far some people go. We'll get to that later on. But Phillies did win yesterday. 7-3.
It was a nice win.
Just what everybody asked for. When we were counting down the days to opening day, we wanted to see 6 innings where the minimum went to plate because Kyle Schwarber got thrown out stealing, because I don't need that to happen anymore. They struck out 6,000 times, and it took extra innings to beat the Washington Nationals. Just what everybody wanted when the season started.
It was 18 or 19?
Strikeouts?
19.
19 strikeouts.
Which is
Mackenzie Gore had 13 alone.
I'm doing like the uncomfortable laugh. That's the uncomfortable laugh of God, it was terrible.
Yeah, it was bad, and I know the shadows were a big part of it. Alec Boehm straight up said
For both
after the
teams.
game. Yeah. Alec Boehm, who had the big knock yesterday,
He did.
brought up the shadows early on. So it's not like he struck out and he's pointing up to the sky. Like, there was post-game when they were celebratory, and he had the big knock, the big 2-run double. He's the first one to sort of say it on camera, like, hey, yeah, the shadows were really bad. These 4 o'clock
maybe
games
we
are not
stop
good.
starting games at 4 o'clock at this time of year.
So maybe that was part of it. I imagine that's part of it. I've played through that before. It does suck. So Mackenzie Gore, 13 strikeouts yesterday and 19 total for the Nationals pitching. But the Phillies end up getting the win. Zach Wheeler, very good start.
Really good start.
6 innings, 8 strikeouts. He allows 1 earned run. It was a solo home run. He only gave up 2 hits. And then the bullpen, minus Jordan Romano, however you want to call him.
Oh, my gosh. Can we just pick one, though, folks?
Kerkering got out of a great jam. He gave up 2, a bleeder, and then they called it an error on Stott initially, and I think they went back to a hit.
All right. We didn't talk about it earlier. I didn't ask. Baseball boys, you seam heads. How should that have, the play with Marsh and Stott, what should have happened?
Hit and advance the second on an error.
No. I'm talking about what should have happened as far as fielding the ball.
Well, if Marsh was a better center fielder, he would have broke in and he would have called off.
Yeah, it should have been Marsh calling him
But he had a
off.
bad read. He wasn't there.
Yeah, both of the guys should have made the play, though.
Yeah.
No, but it was Marsh should have called off. He had a bad break. He's literally stationary.
He had 2
has
bad
a
breaks.
bad break, and then he doesn't wave off Stott.
Yeah, so what happens there is Marsh gets a bad read. Stott has no idea he gets a bad read because he's tracking the ball.
Yeah, so he's following.
And infielders know to pull off so you don't run through an outfielder's chest. So Stott was like kind of alligator arming it because he thought Marsh was going to be there, and he wasn't. You got to communicate better.
Marsh had 2 horrible reads yesterday on balls that were in.
That ball caught every time.
Yeah.
By Johan Morales.
Yeah, probably.
Every time. Yeah. It's not even a...
But Kerkering gets out of it.
Kerkering it was awesome, but it was a weird time. I wasn't expecting to see him at that time.
Well,
like when Kerkering was up,
the roles.
when Tom McCarthy goes, it's Orion Kerkering that's up. Tom McCarthy on the broadcast even seemed shocked, almost like he was thinking that it was going to be that they were going to go to somebody else first. But I loved watching Kerkering pitch.
Yeah, he was great.
I'm enjoying watching him go.
Romano will be fine. Don't panic just yet after 1 outing. Alvarado was just like he was in the spring, dominant.
He looked nasty. That was nasty.
And then Matt Strom did his job.
Matt Strom did
with the glued finger and everything.
A lot of pitches.
Yeah, it took too many
took
pitches.
him some, but he wasn't fooling
You have the
anybody.
runner on second to start.
Right.
You have a 4-run lead, so it's not like you're trying to dance.
And
like
you got a day off tomorrow.
Yeah, you're just trying to get the 3 outs when you're up 4 and there's a runner on second to start.
I would just like to see him fool somebody a little bit more.
you.
But his first outing, what can you do?
And then,
I hope he's not packing anything in the next 2 days.
Exactly. So Boehm had the big 2-run double, but man, Harper, that was a rocket. That was a missile to home, the dead center home run. To get a swing like that on opening day, and I know that's his, 6th now?
Fifth.
Opening day?
I thought it was 5th.
No, it's 6th. It was
He had
5th.
5.
Oh, it was 5,
With the Nationals.
And then it was his 6th opening day home run.
That was beautiful.
Shout out FanDuel Stump the Fans.
Yeah, exactly. And then Schwarber with the home run as well.
Schwarber's was great because as that was carrying, I said, that's out.
Yeah.
And Christina goes, no, they're going to catch it. I say, no.
That ball just kept going.
That ball just kept flying.
And you just wait Saturday when you're down there. It's going to be 80 degrees. That ball will carry even more.
I'm hoping there's going to be some bombs thrown.
So a good look.
It's
they
my
won.
coming to Jesus meeting.
There you go. That's
tomorrow.
right. 1-0. The Phillies are 1-0. It wasn't pretty. We know it.
It was fun, though.
It was game 1 of 162.
Not for some.
Now, Johnny, we just mentioned Schwarber. Something that a lot of people don't believe is possible happened yesterday. I'm going to talk about the Schwarber and the 4-hole thing that I think will ultimately win the dumb argument, in my opinion, even though this manager doesn't want to hear it. And you'll hear from Rob Thompson on the lineup coming up next. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phils win on opening day. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies took down the Nationals in extras on opening day, 7-3 in 10 innings, despite striking out 19 times in the game. The Phils offense came through late as Alex Boehm hit a 2-out, 2-run double in the 10th. They added on with a JT Realmuto triple. Zach Wheeler was excellent as usual, going 6 innings of 2-hit ball with 8 Ks, and the Phils are 1-0. The Phils have the day off today. Jesus Luzardo will face Jake Irvin tomorrow at 4:05 down in Washington as that series continues. The Flyers made some big news yesterday. They played their first game in the post-John Tortorella era as they parted ways with the head coach yesterday morning. Brad Shaw is now their interim head coach. He's 1-0 as the Flyers took down the Canadiens 6-4. GM Danny Briere talked about the decision to move on from Torts yesterday.
I felt it was time, but it's not one thing. It's a series of things that have happened and probably a little bit more in the last 3 weeks that escalated since probably around the trade deadline.
We'll keep you updated on the news that comes out following that decision. Sixers and Flyers both are off tonight. They play tomorrow. We'll talk to Andrew DeCecco coming up at 8:25. This update's brought to you by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes. The Jackson Hewitt Expert Tax Prep is now $149 or less. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/49-149. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Ricky Vitalico.
on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. On March the 28th, Phillies played their first baseball game of the season last year. They won, and it's not over. Okay?
It's not over.
Can we take a deep breath, everybody? Please, a lot of you, please take a deep breath.
Yes.
All right. So yesterday was the first look at what seems to be the left-handed pitching starting lineup yesterday with Trey Turner in the leadoff spot. So the lineup was Turner, Harper, Bohm, Schwarber, Realmuto, Kepler, Castellanos, Stott, Marsh. You'll hear from Rob Thompson coming up in a few minutes because it looks like that's just against starters like Mackenzie Gore, who pitched from the left side. The right-handed starting lineup would begin with Kyle Schwarber in the leadoff spot. And I guess Turner 2, Harper 3, Bohm 4.
That's what I would
Kepler
expect.
5.
That's what I would expect.
Yeah, it makes sense.
That he's gonna go to something that's comfortable for him. I would guess. I don't know.
Well, we'll get to that in a second because I don't like it. But
I don't like it either.
you know, we've kind of been talking about it. But yesterday, the impossible happened, guys. Kyle Schwarber had a productive day batting in the 4-hole. The impossible happened.
You're giving fake news. It can't happen because he can't do that because you're taking away his greatest asset and everything because he has to bat leadoff.
Johnny,
it doesn't make sense to put a guy who is a big SWAT.
You must
right there in the middle of your
You must have missed his at bats. He went 2 for 4 yesterday.
Yeah, but I think you might have been wrong.
No, batting fourth.
You might be wrong.
2 for 4.
You're wrong. It can't happen.
He had a single. He had a home run. He had a walk. He got on base 3 out of the 5 plate appearances yesterday in the cleanup spot.
I'm sorry. I think you're wrong.
Nope.
Look, you're gonna have to look this up, folks. Andrew may be lying. It's so incredible to watch. Like it's great. And did you hear the little dig during the game from John Kruk?
No, what was it?
Boy, I guess he can hit anywhere in the lineup.
Oh, did he say that? I didn't.
He did. He put that in there right after. He goes, boy, I bet he can. It seems like he can hit anywhere in the lineup.
Yeah, I don't understand.
It's a little dig. The little Krucky knows how to get the little digs in.
I didn't understand the belief that he had to bat leadoff. Now, yesterday, he gets the single to start the second inning, right? And I put out basically exactly what John Kruk said. Like, hey, guys, look, he's allowed to hit the ball when he bats fourth.
It's amazing.
And right away, I get the D train checking in, Dylan McTrolin.
Here we go.
And he drops but he did it to lead off an inning. So the whole he bats leadoff once a game argument that people make, I get it. All right? People make that argument that he bats leadoff once a game. Now, he might lead off an inning again down the road. Anybody can.
Sure.
So I got to ask this question. And I think this wins the argument. And I think this argument can just stop after this.
Can it, though?
It won't.
Any of the arguments, they don't tend to stop.
They will never stop. But I hope this makes sense. I'll ask you guys both. If I give you, and forget how the game played out yesterday, if I give you the names Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, and Alec Bohm on one side.
Okay.
And then the other 3 is Castellanos, Stott, Marsh. Who do you believe out of those trios may get on base more over the course of a game and over the course of the season?
First one, easy.
The first group with Turner, Harper, and Bohm. Is that correct?
Well, factually, it's the first group.
You're right. I want you guys to be baseball guys.
It is. It's the first. I appreciate you guys joining me, letting me in the club here.
Yeah, welcome. You're a fellow
I'm novice. I'm novice. Like, is there a hazing process?
No,
Anything
not
like
allowed
that?
to do that anymore.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's over.
I thought that haircut, Connor, was the hazing.
No, this is a choice.
So
it
you
looks
guys agree, not only factually, but Turner, Harper, Bohm, you would expect to be on base more than Castellanos, Stott, Marsh.
I would think it would be. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So when I hear this, factual. Schwarber only leads off the game once. Okay, cool. Wouldn't you rather Schwarber have guys on base in front of him?
Yeah.
I know yesterday.
I'm not as, I know Connor says he's not good with math. I'm pretty good with math. Mm-hmm. Just basic number. Once they started putting letters into math, I was screwed. But when it's just numbers, I'm good with it. Yeah, I think you want guys on base for the guy most likely to hit a deep bomb.
Yeah, and I understand that his home run yesterday was a solo shot. That's going to happen.
It will happen.
But here's the thing that I don't understand with the argument. Everybody loves to do the whole, He only bats leadoff once a time, and the more Schwarber at bats, the better. I get it. Turner, Harper, Bohm, they don't stink. So, I wouldn't mind them getting a lot of at bats too. And if Kyle Schwarber can do what he does best, which is what? Hit the long ball?
Yeah, I think he does it really well.
That's the best asset of his game. Second is probably getting on base because he does walk a lot. If his best asset to his game is the boom, home run, 50 home runs a season, wouldn't you rather there be more chances with more guys on base, which Turner, Harper, and Bohm provide you, than Castellanos, Stott, Marsh? This is why I think we've become too obsessed with the amount of at-bats conversation. I get it. More at-bats for Kyle Schwarber means more chances of home runs. But with more people on base in front of Kyle Schwarber means more chances of more runs. And what ultimately wins you games over the course of the season? More at-bats or more runs? I believe it's more runs that wins you the games. We talk about quality shots, quality this, quality that, quality appearances. If you have more people on base for Kyle Schwarber, that means there's more chance of damage. 2 and 3 and sometimes 4 equals more than 1, Johnny. And that's math for you.
I'm glad you got into that math there. It's really good. I love the...
that should end the argument.
I love I enjoyed yesterday. John Kruk was a little naughty at times yesterday. Little subtle little digs at things that I think he's pleased, though. I think he's pleased to see it. Now, tomorrow, it's just going to go back to is because we tried it one day.
Yeah.
Well, they're not.
Let's go back.
They're not regressing. They've made the plan that they're going to go lefty righty. I think it's okay.
And I don't like. Now, here's Rob Thompson. Here he was before the game yesterday, being asked about the lineup construction, and he's telling everybody that we're making too much of a deal out of it.
I'm just going to try and wiggle it with Trey leading off versus lefties and Schwarber leading off versus righties and see where we go from there.
When you make a decision like that, how much do you talk to a lot of the key guys in the lineup about shifting around?
Talk to them, talk to coaches, analysts, talk to everybody, because it's somewhat of a big decision, but, we can always switch too.
Do you feel like almost too much is made about lineup order?
No doubt.
Okay, can I bring up something that doesn't make sense about Rob Thompson's answer? Mm-hmm. Thompson goes on a soliloquy the other day about Brandon Marsh. And how it's important that just put Brandon Marsh in there every day.
Yeah.
See what he can do. He needs to see right-handed, left-handed. And we need to see if all the things he's been working on in the spring can work. He has to have it. Quote, he has to have that consistency, knowing he's coming to the ballpark and being able to do the proper preparation. Okay? Makes sense.
Yeah.
Everybody buys into that. So then that doesn't make sense, what they're going to do next.
Unless
it doesn't make sense. It's completely contrary.
Well, it's a different player.
It's completely contrary to the thought process.
Unless
that a player
Turner
needs to be able
knows
to be
and has known that he's leading off against lefties.
Oh,
and
no,
not
I think
against
that's
righties.
what he's told. These two lineups.
So they do.
And that's consistency.
They're prepared for it. It's whether
It's
or not
consistently inconsistent.
Well, you don't like it. And I don't
is
like
what
it
it
either.
is. It's not consistency. It's
Well, it is.
It's consistently inconsistent.
If I tell you you're batting against a lefty, John, and there's
Right.
not a lefty on the mound, you know you're not leading off against a lefty.
Yeah,
And,
so
they
the
know
approach,
what's happening.
But I can show you where Rob Thompson told us at the beginning of spring training. The importance of a guy knowing, because when you bat leadoff, it's a completely
Well, he
different
does
approach.
know. They
do
and you
know.
have to get into it. So every day, so one day, come to the approach with this. Come with this approach. Next, Connor, what we want you to do is we want you to talk a lot on the mic today. Scott tells you, and he'd like you to do this. Now tomorrow he doesn't want you to do that, but then on Saturday he'd like you to do it again.
Yeah, and if I get
No.
that schedule ahead of the week,
Consistency.
that's fine.
To say consistency doesn't matter in baseball is flat out contrary to everything that people have told
and
you
that
about baseball
I agree with
since
you.
it began.
That I
is
agree with
completely opposite. So it is a bunch of mumble talk from Rob Thompson. That doesn't make sense. And you know why? Because he's being asked to say something that maybe he doesn't believe
He might
in.
not believe in it.
That
You're right.
he's being
That-
told
Look,
to do
he
something.
did say they talk to everybody within the organization
Yep.
to come up with these. And that's the funny thing. You guys make too much of the lineup. And yet you're telling me that the whole damn organization had to come together to put together a lineup versus left-handed pitching and right-handed pitching, and we're making too much of it? I think you're thinking too much about it, Topper. Or
incredible.
whoever's making the call. we've heard Dombrowski has had a lot of sway on what's being done with this team on a daily basis, especially come playoff time. Christopher Sanchez. Anyways, all right, we'll check our text line coming up next at 610-632-0975. Curious to hear from the people that were manic yesterday. What is it going to take for you to take a deep breath at some point this season? Because yesterday was insane. We have the receipts. We'll get to them later on the 7 o'clock hour. It's Kincade and Salciunas on March the 28th. Not the end of the baseball season. Not October. 97.5 The Fanatic.
Tyrone Johnson, Ricky Vitalico, and Silvana Kelleher.
on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. You know when you have a kid at your house, when you have a child, by certain things.
Okay.
Right? Like, making his lunch every morning at 4 o'clock in the morning is always a fun adventure when he goes to daycare, trying to find the food and all the snacks and his, Paw Patrol, graham crackers and all these kind of things, right? Like, There's toys everywhere.
Connor's going, this is like talking to a dog.
What do you mean? Chase is on the case. I know about
Damn
Paw
right,
Patrol.
man.
Hey, Miss
me with that,
That's
John.
what we say to Nikki, we go, do you want to go on Paw Patrol?
Oh,
and then she runs right to the back door to patrol her back deck.
Damn right she does.
She loves it.
Now, speaking of dogs, Band-Aids is another thing when you know you have a kid in the house. I sliced my finger yesterday, and I couldn't find any Band-Aids except puppies.
Puppies, yes.
So I got puppy Band-Aids.
All right, Matt Strom.
We used to have Disney Princesses one.
Yeah.
I remember having to use a Band-Aid once, and I had like Belle.
Hey, because you can't find
I
anything
had the
else.
Bell-
Because you're
I
buying
had-
the Band-Aids for the kids.
I had
And if
the
they have a
Bell ones.
boo-boo, they want to have a fun. They want to have a fun Band-Aid. And Coop starts pretending to have boo-boos.
Oh yeah, that's a phase. That's a phase.
Yeah, because they want a Band-Aid.
Just get him the stickers.
And so now I got puppy dogs.
It's
on my
a phase.
finger.
It's a phase, but it does happen.
Yeah, I'm anti the Band-Aid, by the way. I will not put a Band-Aid on for anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you?
It was a gusher.
Do you
It
want to
wouldn't
get?
stop.
Do you want to get sepsis?
I haven't yet.
Do you want to die?
30
Yes,
years, sepsis
it's
clean,
good.
baby.
It's good to. Do you clean it out properly at least?
Sometimes.
Yeah, he ain't doing
Oh,
that.
jeez.
Come on, man.
That's how you build up the immunity, Johnny.
Yeah, that's
I'm
guess what?
unkillable. I'm like a cockroach.
Just 2 weeks, just to flatten the curve. We're fine.
All right.
Dr. Thomas.
So we'll get to our text here in a second, but I want to start off on Twitter. 'Cause,
Okay.
Our man Pratik, who's a great Temple Owl, checks in here on social media.
He is a fine Temple Owl.
I quote tweeted our video that Brendan and Haley put together at the beginning of each show, just so that people see what we're talking about, hear what we're talking about.
Okay.
And I quote tweeted it, and I said, "What will it take for some?" And then I put in parentheses, "a lot of you, Phillies fans, to take a deep breath during the season." It was wild on this app yesterday during those first 6 innings, which it was. And that's our topic today. Like, what is it going to take for you to kind of settle in and not be manic over the course of the season? Because you're going to drive yourself nuts if that's how you act. So Pratik chimes in and says, "Sports talk radio has become so weird in this city, especially this station at 975 The Fanatic." So I checked Pratik's tweets yesterday. He wasn't very active on social media. One of his tweets was, "I just don't think it's normal for an offense of this stature to look the way that it does." And I
No, it's not normal. In fact, the Phillies haven't done that, what they did yesterday, ever.
yeah.
So he's correct.
Yeah.
It was the anomaly. It was the outlier. It was something that you've never seen before.
Right.
Very good. That's a good tweet.
Then the next
Good tweet. It's not normal. Good observation.
Then the next tweet. Way to react to game one. Romano is going to be very hateable this year
Oh, jeez.
because of his opening
Wait a
day
minute.
appearance.
So what is he bitching about Sports Talk Radio for?
Well,
We're too calm.
so I asked him.
We're too relaxed.
I said, "How? What was weird was freaking out as if the team stinks yesterday," which a lot of people did. You guys will
They
do
did.
We'll do the
we got
receipts
him.
in an hour.
Oh, it's amazing.
He responds, "Why is everything about how fans behave? It's called fandom for a reason. There are no rules when it comes to fandom and how you want to treat your teams. I'm sure he talked about the game, but seeing headlines about complaining about fans on Twitter is weird." No, our question for you all today is, what is it going to take for you to settle in? Because they have a good baseball team. You saw it yesterday. As down as it seemed throughout the course of the game, what happened? The better team prevailed. And they unleashed in extra innings.
They did.
They unleashed. They scored 4 runs in the top of the 10th inning.
I mean, come on now. It was the minute they got to. I just said they got to get to the bullpen. That because Christina's like, this guy's just mowing
Mackenzie
them
Gore's
down.
nasty.
And I'm like, they'll get there. They just got to.
Now, I never tell people how to fan. I don't. You fan the way you want. I won't do what a lot of you do, like freaking out in game one of a 162-game season. I'm just trying to ask the question, like, what is it going to take for some people to settle down? Because I feel bad for people.
We did try and make a rule book yesterday.
We did try to make a rule book, and we ripped it up. Yeah, we ripped it up. It's just insane. Like, yesterday was game one of 162. And you would think the season was over. You said it, John. They were acting as if a lot of people, not all.
It was like it was a 1-game playoff.
The wild card
or it was
game,
the 7th game. The way everybody was freaking out.
And I feel bad for people that act that way. You're not gonna be happy.
What it is it's the meme of the dude on the train, and one guy's looking out the side with the scary mountain, and the other dude's looking out the side with the sunshine. The scary mountain side is the Phillies struck out 19 times on opening day, and the sunny side is my baseball team won 7-3.
Wait a minute, I'm going to be on a train today. I
go.
love trains.
Look out
the
the
sunny
side.
Love
Here's
trains.
the thing: we can be critical. Like, it was a bad. They had a bad day offensively for the first 6 innings.
And honestly, if you don't understand that the shadows were a huge part of it. You weren't watching or you weren't listening. Like, come on.
Phillies ended up
We
out.
got it. We got to be better.
Phillies finished with 8 hits yesterday, and I think they had 1 through 6 innings. And when the shadows no longer became a factor, they had 7 hits in 4 innings.
All of a sudden, come on. Seriously.
What do we have on the text line this morning? Are people chiming in about when they can settle in or what will make them settle in? Or is this just the way it's going to be all season long and Pratik's going to be upset anytime we call fans out on it?
It's more just reaction to the game so far.
Okay.
We have a check in here from Chris from the Lehigh Valley who says, you want positivity, you'll get it from me. Wheeler looked incredible, core of the bullpen lights out, and later in the game, working counts, getting walks and hitting runs in. How much more do you want? Go Phils 1-0. I'm all in.
I said to Andrew earlier, how many, because I hadn't looked at the number. I said, how many walks did they get yesterday? 7? 7 walks. That's damn good. That's really good.
And Johnny, you and I talked about it off the air before the show.
Sorry.
They weren't really chasing like crazy.
No, I
yesterday.
didn't see that. And I saw people again. I've got people, one of the 5 that I have highlighted of yesterday's highlights from Twitter was this whole idea of, boy, they're chasing again. I wasn't seeing that.
No, Mackenzie Gore was just nasty.
Yeah, he's
they
very
couldn't really see all that well when he was out there, and he was just pounding the strike zone with good pitches. Sometimes that happens. Now, it shouldn't happen to the tune of 19 Ks.
No, that was bad. And look, that was bad.
Yeah.
There are things that I did not like about yesterday. I thought the strikeouts were abysmal. Duh. We mentioned the Bryson Stott, Brandon Marsh. Brandon Marsh took 2 horrible reads in center field.
Well, I mean, absolutely horrible read.
And that's something that needs to be fixed. But then there was a lot of good. Like that Stott play that he made. We talk about him not making the play in center field. That diving play that he made in the first inning of the game. Like, that dude's an elite second baseman.
What about the play to end the game, too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, there's another one. He had 2, is that, and as John Kruk points out, hey, he's going to win a Gold Glove at some time. At some point he is. He's on that trajectory.
Yeah.
He is that good. The play with Marsh, I put that on Marsh. Center fielder has to, first of all, center fielder has to know how to break on a ball.
Yeah.
And that ball wasn't crazy. Like, it wasn't some crazy trick play or crazy wins.
Who knows? Maybe the shadows threw him off.
Could have been.
75-25 to Marsh on that one.
Could have been.
Yeah. Marsh's got to.
He's got to be
a little
better.
better.
And Stott does too. And the bottom of the lineup is going to be an issue if those guys are auto outs. And last year there were points where they were auto outs.
Now, I do think Stott's going to be okay. It was pretty ugly
A-okay?
yesterday, though. Yeah, sure. A-okay. I think he'll be fine, but we'll see. All right.
Fine means what?
Like 270 hitter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And to me, that would be fine.
Toward the bottom of the order.
To me, that would be fine.
You know,
absolutely.
he is your
with
eight hitter,
with a good
right?
on base percentage and
Yeah.
everything, and then try to swipe a bag every
Yeah.
once in a while. Yes.
The only guy I'm legitimately concerned about in this lineup is Marsh.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Like when I say like concern. I mean, Turner didn't look good yesterday, but
No.
we'll see how that goes. But there's only one player on this everyday starting lineup. If this is the everyday starting lineup where I go, yeah, man, I wish they had somebody else in that spot. And it's Marsh. That's it. All right, coming up next, we'll reset today's topic. We'll check our text line. And also, other than Bryce Harper laughing at Gabe Kapler and the curveball machine, something he said yesterday may have been my favorite thing he ever said, Connor.
And you're a fanboy
Ever.
for him. That's incredible. What is it?
We'll find out next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Phils win in extras. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies took down the Nationals in extra innings on opening day, 7-3 in 10. Despite striking out 19 times in the game, Phils offense came through when it counted. Alec Boehm had a 2-out, 2-run double to put the Phils up for good in the 10th. Zach Wheeler was excellent as usual, going 6 innings of 2-hit ball with 8 Ks, and it's 1-0 for the Fightins. They have the day off today. Jesus Luzardo is going to face Jake Irvin on the mound tomorrow at 4:05 in Game 2 of their series with the Nats. Flyers played their first game in the post-John Tortorella era. The team parted ways with John Tortorella yesterday. Brad Shaw is now their interim head coach, and he's 1-0 as the Flyers took down the Canadiens 6-4. GM Danny Briere had a media availability, I'm losing my words there, to talk about the decision to move on from Torch yesterday.
I felt it was time, but it's not one thing. It's a series of things that have happened, and probably a little bit more in the last 3 weeks that escalated since probably around the trade deadline.
Brer was better with his words than I was right there, and we will get more information for you as that story continues to develop. Sixers and Flyers both play tomorrow. They're off tonight. This update's brought to you by Moyer Indoor Outdoor Services. Follow Andrew Salciunas' lead and get a jump on a lush green lawn this spring right now. Go to emoyer.com for free estimates, and don't miss Andrew DeCecco joining us at 8:25. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Bill Colarulo. I don't understand.
It is 6:55 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. My man Pratik responds.
Hi, Pratik.
Because I'm trying to figure out when. We are going to try to figure out when people can settle in to this baseball season.
A little bit. Yeah, like settle. And we understand the emotions. We understand it.
And so, I respond. I'm not telling anyone how to be a fan, just trying to find out what it will take for people to calm down a bit. If this is how it will be for 162 games, it's going to be a very long season for some. So Pratik responds, how did you want the fans to react when the first glimpse of the 2025 Phillies is 13 strikeouts through 5 innings? Did you want everyone to be calm and have tea parties? I'd rather have the outrage. That shows true emotion. Can we find a middle ground?
Outrage?
It doesn't have to be tea parties.
And the open, like seriously, it has to be outrage?
Outrage is a bit too much.
We're 5 innings into a season, and the response is, I'd rather have the outrage?
Like, outrage
That's
to me
crazy to me.
One time in my life at home, because I did it a little bit more when I was in college, but one time in my life, I threw the remote.
I know this one.
And it was when Ryan Howard went down looking against the Giants in 2010. And I threw the remote, put a little nick in the wall. My mom did the whole, you wait till your father gets home, because he was away on business.
Oh.
And when my dad got home, he pulled me aside, did the whole, hey, I get it. Just don't do it again.
That was a Sunday night, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Something like,
yeah, because I remember having
something.
school. I remember having school the next morning and being
terrible.
miserable.
I remember going to work while you were in school.
That's outrage to me. Yeah, sorry. That's outrage to me. And that's the NLCS, right? Like that, not game one of the regular season. It was the final out
of the DS.
Final out of the NLDS. Like that to me is outrage. Throwing a remote in a playoff game, not 13 strikeouts through the first 5 innings, not of a game, of the season, John.
I can't. I mean, seriously, no. And by the way, it's so funny because in a way, fans will tell you, well, don't critique how I fan. But then they will say, well, you're not fanning right.
You didn't show enough emotion.
You're not fanning
You're
right.
having tea
A
parties.
true fan. I had to counsel our young Haley Taylor Simon the other day. And I was like, you can't call somebody a fake fan because of something that was going on. She goes, well, I think they're a fake fan. And I forget what it was the discussion was about. And I said, they're not a fake fan because they have that opinion.
Yeah.
They have a different opinion than you. Doesn't make them a fake fan. It may make them, in your mind, an irrational fan.
Yes.
Or not as loyal. You can have all those opinions. We're all allowed to have opinions on each other. And many times our opinions, even when we point them back on ourselves, end up looking quite dumb.
Yeah, absolutely.
In retrospect.
Now, do you believe, as you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, WPN, HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. Do you believe that tomorrow will be a little bit different in terms of the reaction? Do you think a lot of it had to do with the opening day factor?
Could. We built so much into it. I mean, opening day is going to be, I know this, the day before and the day of the Eagles opener, September the 4th, I will be a mess.
Yeah.
And my wife will tell you the story. She's like, I will sleep in the guest room. If you're not going to sleep tonight, I will go sleep in the night before Eagles season starts. I am tossing, turning. And she's like, I can't get a good night's sleep. She's like, I will go sleep in the guest room. Are you going to be able to sleep tonight? Do something to tire yourself out because you're ridiculous. You're like a little boy. It's like easy, like Christmas. You can't wait to get up.
You're fired up, man.
And it is. So some people may be like that for the first baseball game. I look at the baseball game as it's the beginning of a great journey. By the way, love the new graphics on
I liked it too.
NBC Sports Philadelphia.
I know people are going to miss the poop.
Yeah, the poop game going still.
The new graphics.
It looks sharp.
I don't know. Did Amy Fadul literally just tell them what to do? I'm thinking she's smart.
She's smart.
Like the graphics are so clean. Love them.
Maybe her husband.
Could very best. Sean may.
Who knows?
She's the brains of the operation, from what I hear.
How about throwback graphics day when they play the Pirates?
Yeah, like I'm cool.
Everybody's happy.
I understand why people are bummed out by the poop.
I loved.
That's a couple games.
That's stupid though. But to me, everything was different yesterday. The Stump the Fan being back.
I'm glad. I
the
love
Stump
that it's
the
back.
Fan returning.
No,
I love that it's back.
I don't like it because it was already wrong on day one. As soon as they told us he had 5 opening day home runs, he had 6.
No, but when they told us it was 5, he got 6.
At the time,
I like that.
yeah.
I think it was a good open.
No, it's a fun thing.
When I do see John Kruk at the opener, I'm going to say, John, would you stop doing what you did yesterday? Did you see what he did?
What did he do?
It's 0-0. And he says, this game could end up being decided by a solo homer. That at bat.
Oh, really?
You get a solo homer, and Wheeler's down 1-0.
Wait,
he says,
wait.
he goes like this. He goes, though, for the Phillies. He stops himself
for the
because I
Phillies.
guess T-Mac gives him a glance like, dude, what are you doing? And he goes, for the Phillies, solo home run.
You're on the record that announcer jinxes don't matter.
No, but I'm like, just don't do it.
So why don't do it? Because he jinxed them?
Because of the fact is it just
got you.
then what did it do? What did the flood get? It got no. What did the flood get? It got at least 1920 that I'm counting of people going, oh, Crux at it again. He's black catting them.
Oh, you complain about
and I'm
the
like, please,
Twitter.
it's the instant reaction of
I caught
that
you.
is
That's the
analysis.
second time we've caught him on this.
Nope.
I
jinx
caught
thing.
you in your scapegoat the
because
fan
I will
base.
say it. and
I jinxed them during the Packers game.
I have said it. I've said it before. I'll say it again. You didn't jinx the Packers game at all. Not at all.
when I put out the tweet that the game was over.
The people thought you did, and they did.
The people, including John
including
Kincade.
John
No,
Kincade.
I'm running the Twitter feed, so I got to answer your nonsense for a whole half while you're sitting there enjoying an IPA. Probably what were you?
Probably Miller Lite.
Probably Miller
oh, no,
Lite.
I wasn't drinking in dry January. I was doing dry January. That's right. I
By
had
the way,
water.
dry January during an Eagles postseason run
Difficult.
may be the stupidest thing.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
not
why-
difficult, though.
That's why I ended it at the NFC Championship.
That's why I'm doing dry March
Connor
and
doing
April.
dry March and April is much smarter.
No,
it's
half
not.
and half.
Tournament and baseball.
No, it's
hard.
much smarter. No.
All right, so give us a couple text messages. I would like to know when or how or what would make a lot of the manic Phillies fans kind of take that deep breath and settle into the season. Was it just because yesterday was opening day and it was not a good start, obviously, but to act like the team stinks is insane. Or if you just want to overall react to the game, feel free at 610-632-0975. And then after we read a text message here, Bryce Harper said my second favorite thing ever as a member of the Phillies yesterday. I'm very proud of him. What do we got, Connor?
All right, so we have people mainly just reacting to the game. This person checks in and says 19 strikeouts is ridiculous, but the Shadows and Sun had to play some kind of part. I just hope there's not an overreaction on Rob Thompson's part and he sticks with his lineup. Schwarber needs to be in the 4 spot.
Well, Schwarber's batting leadoff tomorrow as long as the Nationals send a righty to the mound.
They are. Jake Irvin's going to be on the mound.
So Kyle Schwarber's your leadoff hitter tomorrow. Turner's going to bat second.
Can I expect some bombs tomorrow?
I mean, yeah, you got 2
Really like
on.
80-some degrees?
Well, he
and-
only hits well in the leadoff spot. Ignore what happened
No, I'm talking about
yesterday.
just the whole lineup tomorrow.
okay.
I want with Jake Irvin on the mound. I would like to see a few meatballs.
Kepler looked good yesterday. Had some good at bats.
Kepler, yes.
So maybe with a right-hander on the mound, he goes yard.
He's a solid player.
My daughter, a fan. She was a fan when she
Yeah,
got her first glimpse of Kepler.
that the new favorite.
Maybe climbing up the rank.
Dude, when I was in Clearwater, the women that were there were all over Jason Worth.
Really?
Dude, I mean, I saw 2 butt grabs.
What?
Yeah, dude.
That's assault, brother.
Dude.
That is assault.
And I remember when
That's incredible.
I remember
No.
like there was a group of people that
Connor's
really
like, where can we get assault?
that really liked him when he was here.
Hi, I'm Jason Worth.
But like,
Really?
I don't know if it's the beard and hair that like the women were. Dude, I mean,
Really?
a part of me felt bad for Larry because they were doing the pictures together.
Oh, come on. Larry's had his butt groped.
Yeah, I know.
I
but-
promise you. Larry was back in his day. The women loved Larry. The women
I
loved
know.
Larry Boa.
But man, Jason Worth,
a charmer.
It was insane. All right, so Bryce Harper, before the game, we have a couple clips for you that we'll play today. One pregame, one postgame. But this one was pregame yesterday, and I absolutely loved it. Now, laughing at the curveball machine is my favorite Bryce Harper quote ever. But yesterday, he said something that we on the air have been talking about, and I understand that we are a little bit different when it comes to fandom because we have to try to be as balanced and as unbiased and blah,
Okay.
blah, blah, even though we do show our true colors. Like we were the positive ones about the Phillies yesterday. But pregame, Bryce Harper had this quote about the daycare yesterday.
Young guys, first of all, they're not the daycare anymore. Obviously, they're on this team, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun for them to go in and enjoy it this year. I want them to just have fun.
I love that he said they're not the daycare anymore. They're 27 and 28 years old. So the Bohm, look, good for Bohm yesterday. A nice hit yesterday, and I'm glad hearing all these stories that he's in a good headspace. We'll see how the season plays out. But like last year was inexcusable the way he acted as a 27-year-old man.
His own teammates, no one came to his defense.
Right.
when he's being benched in a playoff series. That's all you need to know.
Now, when I hear
That's all you
Harper
need to
say
know.
this, it also adds to my concerns about Brandon Marsh. Like, he's not the 22, 23-year-old prospect anymore. And I get it. He hasn't had the opportunity to be an everyday player just yet. I don't believe it's going to work out. He's 27 years old. Like, he's not going to all of a sudden snap into being a great baseball player, right? But I do love that Bryce Harper kind of put it out there like, look, these guys aren't the young guys anymore. Like, this team is here to do damage and is here to try to win big picture stuff, and it can't just be daycare anymore. Like, it's got, like, no more excuses for any of the players. We got to hold Bryce Harper accountable.
Sure.
Right? But we also got to hold the quote-unquote young players accountable when they're in their late 20s. Yes, no?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
yeah.
no more daycare.
No more daycare in it. By the way, it was wonderful. It was wonderful to see a great interview in the post-game interview yesterday. It was a great interview. No seeds, no water baths, no. It was actually like a conducted, legitimate
It was
interview.
also cold, so maybe that's why
It
there's
wasn't
no water
cold.
bath.
83 when they went on Saturday.
Yeah,
there might be a water bath.
I'm going to tell you, I don't believe it's. I think it'll come for big events.
Yeah,
but
like
not every
walk-offs
game.
and stuff.
Walk-offs.
Yes, and I think, by the way, it should.
All right, so you don't overdo it. I get that.
It absolutely should. I think it should come for fun stuff like that.
Tomas Perez was the best at it with the shaving cream pie.
There you go.
It's good work. All right, coming up next, check our text line. Also, speaking of the daycare, Alec Boehm, one of the former members of the daycare, big hit yesterday. We'll talk about Boehm's performance and what Bryce Harper said about him post-game. That kind of pulls you behind the curtain of what everything was about this offseason. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
Sixers win. Play that song.
The Philadelphia Flyers.
discussion in a second here, but Diana Rossini just tweeted something out a few minutes ago. Jeremy.
Yes, she did. Did you see my tweet with it?
No, I did not.
Mine's going to get me in trouble.
So she put out the tweet. Nothing is set in stone yet, but the sense I get from around the league is that momentum around banning the tush push is growing.
Oh, come on.
So what was your tweet? I didn't see it.
I put up a picture of the Falcons and the Packers brass discussing the tush push.
Let me see here.
Let's just say, meow, meow.
I gotta go to, yep, there they are.
Yeah. That's the Falcons and the Packers.
Yeah. But here's the thing. It's now more. If it's growing, now how much is it growing? Did a third team or a fourth team chime in? It has to be
I'm going to tell you
a lot of teams have to agree to it.
I'm going to tell you, I bet when the vote goes down, six teams will vote against it.
How many do they need?
24.
Okay, wow.
Need 24.
They're not getting 24.
No, they're not getting – I don't think they're getting double digits. But you never know.
Yeah, because people don't want to be exposed as being wimps.
And I will tell you right now, I will hammer out a text so fast to the father of the Rams coach. If Sean McVay and them vote against this, and to Les Snead, I am going to just tear into them. If they seriously, if it's just, hey, we need an edge. We need to just get in their heads. We need to disrupt the Eagles, which is what I think some teams may be thinking now. I don't think they get to double digits.
But here's the deal. Is it really going to disrupt the Eagles? Like, they have Saquon Barkley. Like,
yeah, they'll be fine.
Or they'll do a normal quarterback sneak, and it'll probably still work. It's just, why are we still doing this? Like, it's not, I don't get it. It's not a football play. I don't, to me, football is physicality. To me, football starts in the trenches. Maybe it's because we're bred that way, because the Eagles have been telling you that for like 25 years now, that it's all about the trenches.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. And other teams have tried it. And, when Sean McDermott, the hypocrite, does the whole, I always think about player safety first, then why did you run it the second most times in the NFL? Mm-hmm. And they ran it a lot. Like, it's not like they ran it second most times and they ran it 3 times. They ran it 50-plus times last year.
He should be embarrassed.
Yeah, it's hypocritical.
He should be embarrassed.
Yeah, you can't drop that line when
seriously.
you're the team that runs it the second most in the NFL.
He's supposed to come from one of the tough Catholic schools in the Catholic League. He's sort of disappointing them.
That was pretty disappointing.
Got to tell you, very disappointing.
If he was tough, he would have gone public.
That's true.
I've seen them compete. I don't believe so.
Us public school kids, man.
We said tough, not good.
That's right.
we had wars in the hallways.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sure.
All right.
Yeah, you went to school in, like, Compton.
Bryce Harper.
Freaking break.
Bryce Harper, after the game yesterday, talked about Alec Boehm. Now, it's a great clip because, again, Bryce Harper, even though he's not the vocal leader of the team, that's Kyle Schwarber.
He's still the man.
Yeah, and oh, by the way, his voice, we talked about this last week, his voice weighs the most, right? His voice is the heaviest. When he speaks, you go, all right. And I get it. You have to kind of get through the pandering of stuff like you do. But when he talks about the actual team, you listen to the words that he has to say. And he's usually a pretty open book. Here he was talking about Alec Boehm, and he straight up said, yeah, he was being shopped around last year.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they were real. He had a possibility of going somewhere else, and a lot of guys in here, man, including myself, we love that kid over there. He plays the game and plays it hard and understand what it takes, man. And he just needs to not put pressure on himself too much and just have fun, enjoy what he does, and what a big at-bat for him to come through right there.
And remember, last year during the regular season, not the benching of in the playoff game, during the regular season when they were up like 10-0 in a game, and Boehm was
in Kansas City.
Was it Kansas City? Okay.
That was like a Sunday afternoon.
Harper had to literally sit down next to him on the bench.
It's not freaking Little League.
Right.
If you have to take care of a 27-year-old man or 28-year-old man.
Well, and that's why I'm glad he said the daycare's done. Like, because the daycare thing is not just, vibes, all that kind of stuff. Daycare is like how they're not children. How do you act on the field? How do you act in the dugout? And Alec Boehm acted like a petulant child last year, which is why he got his ass benched in a playoff game.
What are the Phillies? A professional baseball team.
Yes.
It's not your local high school. It's not the 14 and under league. It's not. It's a professional baseball.
Yeah, and so if he is in this great headspace, that's fantastic.
He seems
because he is a good ball player. It's just obviously the lacking of power is a conversation we'll always have. But
he had a wonderful interview yesterday after the game. Though.
Yeah, it was great.
Like it was the most. He sounded to me he sounded to me like a different guy.
Oh, now, a good game
there was a confidence to it.
Yeah.
There was a confidence to him. There was a real strength.
He was talking after a game in which he had the big hit.
No, but it was still
on day
he's
one of
talking about.
162.
Yeah.
I've seen him interviewed and I've talked to him.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like it's
okay.
He seemed different. Seemed different than I've seen
Fair.
him be in the past.
I hope that's
and
the
I hope
case,
it's
then.
the truth too.
All right, what do we got on the text line, Connor?
All right, we have a check-in here from Stick from Clearwater. It says,
What's up, Stick?
Not my first game of watching these guys because obviously he's down there for spring training, but watching Marsh try to hit lefties is the definition of insanity. Please move on from this, Dombrowski.
Can't do it. I apologized earlier because not apologized, but I made an absolute pledge. If I'm going to rip Rob Thompson because he only gave 14 games with a guy with the pedigree of Trey Turner, and I rip that and say, no, that's not enough time to see what he can do, I'm not going to say yank the plug on this one either.
Thank you, Johnny.
It's too early. Too early. Now,
You guys,
as I
can
said like 35
carry
games.
the water for
35
that.
games, 40 games. I'm completely in on it. And by the way, if I saw what I saw yesterday, I will be completely over.
Yeah, dude, the Phillies are going to be a winning baseball
But
team
I'm going
when
to let
April
this.
ends.
But if I'm seeing that,
No.
it's not good enough.
I know, I'm with you. But what I'm saying is, whatever, Brandon Marsh could go 0 for $1 billion. This team is going to win more than they lose in the month of April. And then at the end of April, if he is 0 for $1 billion or looks terrible
Looks
he looked yesterday, they are going to play somebody else. He is
They
not
have
Bryce
to.
Harper.
Well-
He is not an automatic start the whole year.
Right.
Here is the one thing that is completely fair after one game. He showed you on 2 plays that should be relatively routine. He is not fundamentally sound. He is not a great defender. And you have a great defender on the bench. In a nothing game, things like that matters.
One day you guys will be on the right side of history.
Well, no, I'm just being fair.
I know.
I'm just trying to be fair.
I am not being fair.
No, you're
But
not.
I've also been saying this for 3 years, so it's
No,
not
you
like,
have been. Yeah,
it's not like I just started saying this.
No, I'm with
Today.
you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
But if they're going to try this, I'm going to give
And I
it
said
more.
I'll give
I'm gonna
it
it
patience.
Okay, I'm giving
I just-
35,
This
40
is
games.
patience out of you?
I just know how it's going to go.
That's not
No,
patience.
you've seen the end. You know the end.
I know the end.
It's sort of like Lost. People watching Lost. I told them it was
Watch,
purgatory.
He'll have a good day today. I'll get the tweets. Brandon Marsh to me, is what Furkan Korkmaz was to Mike Missanelli. When Korkmaz, anytime he had a good game, his Twitter would get
flooded.
See? He's a good player.
And then
it'd be crickets for the next 9 games.
I'm tweeting at you when he has a good game.
So Ray Dunn. Ray Dunn and I were texting.
There you go.
All right. Coming up next, we'll check our text line. But also, I heard Mike going through projected stats of the 2025 Phillies yesterday, Johnny. And the numbers were kind of meh. I wonder what people are actually expecting for some individuals this season. We'll discuss this next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
A weird game 1 for the Phils. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies took down the Nationals yesterday in extra innings, a 7-3 victory in 10, but it was a weird opening day for the Fightins. They struck out 19 times in the game. Mackenzie Gore, 13 of those starting for the Nationals, and yet they still put up 7 runs. The Phils offense came together late. Alec Boehm, a 2-out, 2-run double in the 10th that ended up being the difference in the game. Zach Wheeler was excellent as usual, going 6 innings of 2-hit ball with 8 Ks, but Jordan Romano had a rough debut, giving up a 3-1 lead in the 8th. It is just game 1 of 162, and the Phils have the day off today for us to digest it all. Jesus Luzardo will face Jake Irvin tomorrow in game 2 of their series with the Nats, 4:05 p.m. first pitch in Washington. The Flyers played their first game yesterday in the post-John Tortorella era. The team parted ways with their former head coach yesterday morning. Brad Shaw is now the interim head coach, and he started off 1-0. Flyers beat the Canadiens 6-4. GM Danny Briere talked about the decision to move on from Torch yesterday.
I felt it was time, but it's not one thing. It's a series of things that have happened, and probably a little bit more in the last 3 weeks that escalated since probably around the trade deadline.
Sixers and Flyers are both off tonight. They'll both play tomorrow. Andrew DeCecco will join us coming up at 8:25. This update's brought to you by Hand & Stone. Pricing starting at just $79.95. There's no better time to unwind and relieve stress. Find the spa nearest you at handandstone.com and experience the ultimate in relaxation. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Baseball season is here.
Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Check out our text line here coming up in a little bit as we're reacting to the reactions of day one on opening day. At 7:40, John Kincade has some receipts. I got some receipts. Connor's got some receipts. We'll go through some of the tweets that were sent our way.
I even
or
have
if you just saw some.
I've got some people that have even now sent me a couple.
Oh, great.
Some of the most ridiculous ones, and they're actually, a couple of them are better than two of the ones that I had.
Oh, awesome.
So that's good. So if you have some of the stupid receipts from yesterday.
So we'll check our receipts coming up at 7:40. But yesterday, before obviously the game starts, I was listening to the Mike Missanelli show on the way home.
That's a good choice.
Damn right. And Mike was going through a list of projections. I don't know where he got the projections, but it was the projected numbers for the everyday players, right? What their batting average will be, on base percentage, home runs, RBI, you name it. And obviously, these are all projections. So, and it's basically the average of the course of their careers.
Where was he getting these numbers from?
I'm not sure. I don't know if it was ESPN.
I walked out of a store and I picked up on it late.
Yeah.
So Mike must have explained where he got it. I didn't hear it.
And so he's going through the numbers, and he was asking Bill and Ray, thumbs up or thumbs down, like, would you take this from this individual player? And I'll be honest, when I'm listening to the projections, other than Harper, all the numbers were kind of like,
Okay, wait a minute now. Are you talking about, I heard the numbers, and it was interesting because Bill, the part I heard was when they talked about Alec Boehm's numbers. And Bill was like, no, he goes, I think I'd be okay with that. And Ray Dunn said, not in the 3-hole.
So, and then Bill later changed his opinion.
Oh, okay. That's I must have left.
Yep,
I must have cut out the conversation and Ray goes, hell no.
Yeah.
Not batting third in this lineup.
They were not thrilled with Castellanos' projections. Kepler, Ray was just down on Kepler that he took the projections because they were better than what he expects. But a lot of the numbers were kind of like, So it got me thinking.
The noises you're making this morning, by the way, are you keep track of them?
Yeah, just put together a highlight reel.
He's got the
That's the key. That's the key three.
Yeah. Gunner, I'd love a few of these. It's like meh, and then Now it's
The key three is just going to be noises.
Yeah.
We know this team inside and out. And I wonder if that's the problem for a lot of people. Because if you think about it, let's just go through the order. Just yesterday. Forget how the game played out. Forget that there was 600 strikeouts. And forget the fact that they won. So Trey Turner's your leadoff hitter. He's been, for the most part, a disappointment in terms of what his contract is. He had a good year last year. And, of course, he had the hot stretch after the ovation 2 seasons ago. But for the most part, we can all agree we've been underwhelmed by what Trey Turner has brought to the table. Correct?
I think that they already have let that be known as an organization.
Okay.
That they got to change some things.
Harper, worth every penny. And as I said, his projections were like the one where you went, yeah, that's going to be a fun season. Bohm, there was questions coming into the season about mentality. We all know that the guy's a good ball player. But come playoff time, he's been exposed the last couple of years. Schwarber's home runs and walks. We know who Schwarber is. Like, there's not going to be a new Kyle Schwarber. The only newness from Schwarber last year was that he actually hit lefties very well for average. But then there's JT. Everyone kind of knows what you're going to add to JT. Kepler, nobody's really expecting much. Castellanos is disliked by this fan base. He's like Darius Slay for the Phillies. He's a good baseball player that's just not liked. Stott, we're hoping, bounces back. And I don't think there's many people expecting a ton out of Brandon Marsh. So I just gave you 9 guys, and there's really only 2 players, Harper and Schwarber, where I think the majority of the fan base goes, yeah, those are the 2 guys that I expect a lot out of. And everybody else is kind of,
I think that's...
Is that why people are kind of down? Because it doesn't scream, like, unless Turner gets back to his normal form, people aren't thrilled with what Turner's done for the Phillies.
No, Turner needs to do a hell of a lot more.
Now that lineup got you 95 wins.
There's another new one.
Yeah, our line for what okay is or what Matt is way too high.
I agree.
It is for $300 million. It is
Absolutely.
Well, no. You do need more out of Turner.
For $300 million.
I thought you were talking about the payroll of the team in general.
No. What I'm saying is for him making $300 million.
For Trey, absolutely.
Yeah, like Harper's giving you what you're paying him for.
Harper's been worth every dime. Yeah. In fact, Harper is the last 2 years has been a bargain.
Yeah, but
a bargain.
I'll tell you, who's been worth every penny? Harper and Schwarber?
Schwarber's worth Schwarber
Wheeler,
has exceeded
obviously.
what he's
Yeah, well, I'm talking about
hitters.
lineup.
Here's the thing.
Like I like Castellanos. I know that he has not played to the contract. I just think he is disrespected in the city.
Yeah. What I will say is, like, Turner giving you 295 or 6 or whatever he hit last year with over 20 bombs from the shortstop position. It's not $300 million production, but it's not, like, way off.
But the thing is when you get the worst shortstop in baseball, then it just makes it horrendous.
And the problem, the valleys. Remember, he was hitting 330 at one point and dropped to 295.
Hamstring, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I got you.
What was year one?
Year one, he stunk. There is no excuse.
Yeah.
So we'll see but 2-year sample size. So we'll see what he does this year.
But I just wonder, is that why people are, like, down on this team? Like,
it shouldn't be a reason.
It shouldn't be. You're right. I'm trying to figure out. My like deal with the last week of talking Phillies baseball has been trying to figure out what the deal is with people. And this team's good.
Okay.
This team's going to win 90-plus games. I think they're going to win the division. But I'm trying to figure out, like, what is the psyche of the fan base that's just not rocking with this team right now?
I'll tell you what it is.
Please.
This is exactly what it is.
All right.
It's the mentality of the fan base. We have a deep-seated need for Negadelphia, and it has been taken away from us a little bit because the Flyers and Sixers are such in a spot that it's not even worth having the conversation this year.
Yeah, you're right.
And the Eagles are so good that we couldn't be negative about them. So now, where can you have an actual debate about negativity on a team? There's only one in the city right now. That's the Philadelphia Phillies.
So you think even though they have, so you think they've rejected Ray Dunn's proposal, which I think is the Posidelphia?
Yeah, people fight back to their nature. And our nature in this city.
We're relapsing.
Yeah.
We're going back to.
We need our fix of Negadelphia.
I think that, and I really do believe it, the Negadelphian in me was wiped clean by living away from here for a long period of time.
That could have helped, yeah.
And because I looked at it and said, damn, I have it better. I have it better. Like, I'm seeing another city that really has a reason to bitch and complain.
You went to Negadelphia rehab.
And then you came back clean. That's what I did.
And we're very proud of you.
That's what I did.
We'll give you your chip
But a
coming
lot
up.
of people are relapsing right now.
I'm carrying my coin right now. It is. That's good up, Connor. Got to give you a tip of the cap on that.
There we
one.
go.
That makes a lot of sense. By the way, my buddy Joe checking in.
Yes.
He said Andrew's a little off base with Castellanos. He goes, many fans like him. He said, including me, who has his jersey, and your bride. Hey, Joe, don't let the secret out of that. If Nicky the C walks by and winks tomorrow, like if he's in the on deck circle and he winks at Christina, I'm having dinner alone tomorrow night.
Now, here's the deal.
He wouldn't do that because he's a married man.
You know how you tell me that I can't see a couple tweets and say that that's what everybody's saying?
Right.
Joe, just because you have a Nick Castellanos jersey does not mean that everybody likes Nick Castellanos.
No. But there's
we
a
do this
lot,
for a living. There's a lot of people that.
There's a lot of people that rag on him.
A lot. More so than not.
Can I say one thing on one story that
your
did
name
go
is on the show?
That one did yesterday. Thank you very much. Yesterday, John Tortorella got fired.
Yes.
And I was texting last night with people that are far more in the know. Not people who are in the media like me.
Okay.
People who are far more in the know. And I'm just going to read you a couple texts. The misinformation that appears to be out there regarding Matvei Mishkov and his relationship with John Tortorella is mind-boggling. If people took 10 minutes of their time to read the 2 interviews that were done with foreign press this year, as Matvei spoke glowingly of his relationship with John Tortorella, his understanding of John Tortorella, and more importantly, his appreciation for John Tortorella, they wouldn't be spewing the same crap over the airwaves and social media. It's a public service announcement. It takes 10 minutes, and if you go read it, you can actually hear what Matvei Mishkov thought about John Tortorella, who, by the way, when John Tortorella was fired, Matvei Mishkov had already gone 6.5 points over his projected rookie season average scoring that you could have bet on, and I did, by the way.
Yeah, but he scored twice last night. That means he hates
right.
That means he hated
right.
Torts.
And Coots.
It takes 10 minutes. And you know what? There's a responsibility behind a microphone to just do a little research.
I love this city.
Yeah, it is.
Coming up next. Thank you for the PSA, Johnny. We're going to go through the receipts The tweets that were sent in during the first 6 innings of yesterday's ball game. Game 1 of
162.
162.
Magic number 161 this morning.
We'll check the receipts next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
We want to hear from you, so text us at 610-63.
Kincade Salciunas on this championship Friday. Eagles related, at least. Phillies are 1-0, though, undefeated. And that's why John Kincade already has the magic number up behind him for
I just decided
for our YouTube audience.
I'm going to just have a little bit of fun and just put it up. I think it can be seen. Haley will tell me if I put it in the right spot. I think it can be seen. It's It's 161.
I could check that for
Let's
you.
have a little
I
fun.
can check that for
Let's
you right
have
now.
a little fun, everybody, and just
because you can watch the show on YouTube.
You can.
Yeah, just search Kincade
love that.
Salciunas or 97.5 The Fanatic. Boom, I click on it, and I only see my ugly mug. Oh, no, I see it right above your head.
There it is. Okay, good. That's what I tried to do.
So you got the magic number.
There you go.
161. Good product placement there, Johnny. I appreciate it.
We like that.
All right, let's get to the receipts. We're not checking the text line. We're checking the Twitter line from the first 6 innings of yesterday's ball game.
It's just
it also continued getting worse later on in the game when Romano was having his experience, which was not a fun one, but I don't know how anyone can already say that he's going to stink after one outing. But Johnny, you said you've kept multiple receipts.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Have had it. What were the people saying?
I want to thank Frank for sending me this one this morning because I think it's better than even one that I had seen on my own timeline. At least the Phillies are showing me who they really are this time early, instead of putting my nuts in a vice in October.
Oh my God!
So I can avoid it.
So he's just not going to watch.
This was time stamped.
Yeah.
So it's time stamped at 5:34.
So we're about fifth inning probably at that point.
5:34. At least they're showing me who they are early this time around instead of putting my nuts in a vice in October so I can avoid it. Not going to shame anybody, but that's a bad. Like seriously, that's an angry tweet.
Yeah.
Like that's angry. That's a, that's go take a walk tweet. Like, are you kidding me? How about this one for you? This is one that I had. Great job, Trey Turner. Black hole at the top of the lineup. Thompson takes something that wasn't broken, and then he breaks it. Can't end soon enough. I don't know what that means, okay? I don't know what that meant. That was time-stamped 6:08 p.m. So already the game was 1-1 at the time.
I would think so, yeah.
Point. Great job, Trey Turner, at the end. Okay, here's one that I could not get over. Time-stamped, it's my eyes a little bit. 5:49. We went almost a season without a clutch hit last year, and it's like we learned nothing from 2024. We were 61 and 20 or 62 and 23 or something.
Yeah, there's
33.
A lot of clutch hits.
We're like 30 games over 500 at one point.
Yeah.
With tons of clutch hits.
They had one yesterday.
And then at the point they didn't really have it.
By the way, Castellanos had a clutch hit in the playoffs last year.
He did. And that was a walk-off.
Multiple clutch hits, yeah.
Here's a great one. Here's a great one from 6:14 p.m. I'd like to thank the Phillies for giving me more pool time, golf time,
Are
and
you
nap time.
serious?
This is after they've already scored.
Oh my!
It was now wait a minute though. That's after Romano comes in and has he was probably in the midst of the meltdown.
Yeah, but the game wasn't over.
I understand. And here's the best one of the best ones at the end. This one came. This was great, and I saved this one special because this one was time stamped. Game started at like 4:06.
Okay.
This one's time stamped 5:03 p.m. This team obviously spent their time on the beach in Clearwater because no one in this lineup obviously spent any time in a batting cage. That was it. We were not.
They didn't spend any time in the batting cage.
These are 2 hours. 2 hours into the regular season. Those were the tweets, and it's one of the things where you were talking to my buddy Joe, and you're saying like we see more foot traffic,
yes,
because of what we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Connor, you have the text line, and you see it.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the kind of stuff you get.
I want to know. I kind of want to text Silvana to be like, what were they? Because she was getting texts in live time during the game yesterday because we're obviously live on the air.
So they're watching, they're listening to Best Show Ever, but they're listening to Best Show Ever and watching the game.
Yeah, I can scroll back. We'll do that later on.
I got some here for you.
Okay, what do you got?
Philly Kid 4567. Phillies.
That's not Gilly the Kid.
No.
Let's make sure.
Phillies are trash. They won't make the playoffs.
Well, does it have a time?
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. That was at 4:41.
Okay. See, literally, it was the third inning. It's the third inning of the opening game.
Evan Ross at 5:14. I've shut it off already. I'm watching Malcolm in the Middle.
Okay, but
That's a rerun.
You're hard up because that was a horrible sitcom.
Dr. Andrew Cohen at 5:14, exact same time, by the way.
So this is a doctor.
I'm glad they worked on their approach. This approach has scored more strikeouts. Can you win a game scoring the most strikeouts? Go Phils. Jules at 5:15, a minute later.
That's not Aunt Jules, I hope.
Oh, they look so different from the last 3 years, don't they? Same old, and I mean old.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, these were the types of tweets that we were getting yesterday during the game. Connor, did you get any? Do you have any receipts?
Of course I did.
From the first 6 innings of the season for the Philadelphia Phillies. By the way, Evan Ross, one of the tweets I read to you, hit a parlay yesterday. So what, are you happy now?
What they took?
By the way, he won $867.
Oh, that's a good deal.
That's a nice parlay, man.
I got a tweet, 5:14 as well. I don't know what happened at 5:14, but it must not have been
Yeah,
good.
Because what do we have? We all have a bunch of them.
Yeah.
That must have been the strikeout the side, is what I'm figuring. It was probably the strikeout the side.
Could have been. New year, same team, same results. This isn't shocking. It's exactly why there was zero buzz by this fan base coming into the season. This has been revealed for 3 years what the Philadelphia Phillies lineup is. Kevin Long needs to be fired. Same S, same toilet. I mean, a lot of stuff. This lineup is old and mediocre. Stop playing, Connor.
I hate the Kevin Long thing. Like, I get it. Like, people want a body, but like, he's not in the plate. Like,
the Jordan Romano stuff is hilarious too.
Yeah, like Romano.
Well, the thing is, though, here's the only thing with the Romano stuff is that, and I will again give people a little bit of grace on it. When it's the new guy,
and you're expecting,
and you gave away, you let 2 of the top relievers in baseball walk away, and you brought him in on a flyer. I absolutely understand more of the frustration there, even though it's way too small a sample size. I still can get it more than I would get it for some other players.
Yeah, but I had a dude say, when did anyone ever say this guy was good? He stinks.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. He's coming off of an injury, and you could be concerned maybe he's not himself.
Yeah, the Romano thing.
To say that he was a bad baseball player before coming here is
come on,
factually incorrect.
So one of the things that I said was I was going to give him time to figure out the bullpen. Like, I told him I was going to give him a month because Rob Thompson has new pieces. You got to figure that out. But
that's difficult, by the way.
It is. I tweeted this out yesterday, though, and this is something I did not like from Topper. Jordan Romano in Toronto appeared in 74 games over the last 2 seasons. 65 of those appearances were in the 9th inning. Only 9 were in the 8th inning. He went in the 8th inning yesterday. Bullpen roles are important.
I agree. I'm pro bullpen role.
So maybe he gets moved to the 9th and he's better. Maybe he just works into his new spot in the bullpen and he gets better. It is his first appearance.
Yeah. Now, I got one more tweet for you. And it was after I tweeted out, the Stones on Kirkering to get out of that jam, which he got out of that jam. I got a tweet from Eric.
Okay.
This is not like a bashing tweet of Kirkering. The second sentence is giving him a clean slate this season. That was a tough jam to get out of. But the first sentence was, as a known Orion Kirkering hater, I have to agree.
Why would you be
Who hates? Like, what?
Wait a minute. There were 7 relievers in baseball that had a better ERA.
Who hates Orion Kirkering?
7 ERA that had a better ERA than him last year. They were all older than him.
That just shows you, people, you're never going to be beloved by everybody.
Nope.
All right, coming up next, we reset our topics. We check our text line. Busy 8 o'clock hour. Today's headlines with Connor Thomas around 8:15. And Andrew DeCecco, as we're less than a month away from the draft, will join us at 8:25. All here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phillies find a win. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phils took down the Nats on opening day. It took extra innings, 10 to be specific. 7-3 the final score. Despite striking out 19 times in the game, the Phillies offense came to life late. Alec Boehm had the big hit in the game, a 2-out, 2-run double in the 10th. Zach Wheeler was pretty darn good as well. 6 innings, 2 hits, 8 strikeouts for Wheels, and the Phils have the day off today. Jesus Luzardo will face Jake Irvin tomorrow at 4:05 down in Washington. Flyers played their first game in the post-John Tortorella era. They parted ways with the former head coach yesterday morning. Brad Shaw is now the interim coach, and he started his career 1-0 as the Flyers took down the Canadiens 6-4. GM Danny Briere talked yesterday to the assembled media about the decision to move on from John Tortorella.
I felt it was time, but it's not one thing. It's a series of things that have happened, and probably a little bit more in the last 3 weeks that escalated since probably around the trade deadline.
We'll see what further news comes out about the Tortorella parting. Sixers and Flyers both play tomorrow. They're both off tonight. Andrew DeCecco will join us at 8:25. This update's brought to you by Rapid Radios. Their instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Vacation, business.
Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Andrew DeCecco going to be joining us coming up at 8:25 as we are less than a month away from the NFL draft. So starting next week, Andrew's going to be joining us every Thursday in studio for about an hour to start breaking down the draft. We didn't want to do that yet today just because yesterday was opening day and we want to have a lot of fun with the Phillies reaction to yesterday's fun game. For some of us. But yeah, Andrew DeCecco will be joining us coming up at 8:25. We always love having him in. He's been just such a great asset to this team. We have today's headlines with Connor Thomas coming up in a few minutes. But here's what we've been talking about today. We've been reacting to the reactions. Yesterday, we just gave you last segment the receipts from some of the tweets that we got in the first 6 innings of the ball game yesterday. No, it was not a fun 6 innings. Unless you like a pitcher's duel. I do. I'm a baseball guy, so I like pitcher's duels. That's why I had Skeens and Alcantara on my laptop, because I like watching good pitchers pitch. So sometimes when good pitchers pitch, especially early on when the pitchers have the advantage, there's not going to be much offense. The team that scored who scored the most runs yesterday? It wasn't the White Sox. It was the Orioles. There was 2 teams that scored double-digit runs. The Phillies were pretty close with 7. Like it's not a lot of runs early on in the season. It was the Nationals bullpen that blew up. So
my under bet was looking so good.
It was looking great.
It was looking so good.
By the way, the overs and strikeouts hit pretty quickly.
That was, that seems pretty easy.
They were both 5.5.
I bet the overs on strikeouts with Aaron Nola a lot, and won a lot last year.
Well,
last 2 years.
Early on, it's going to continue. I mean,
hopefully it does.
The way these guys. I mean, look. I mean, for prime example, right? Like we're complaining about Philly's approach and all that kind of stuff. Did you see C.J. Abrams' first at bat? His hand, the bat flew out of his hands. This is the leadoff hitter for the Nationals. And then his bottom hand.
That was wild.
I've never seen that in my life. I'm sorry. I've been playing baseball my whole life. I've been watching baseball my whole life. I've never seen the bottom hand come off the bat. We've seen the top hand, and you flail. Sure. I've never seen the bottom hand come off the bat, but it happened. You know why? It was game 1 of 162. The nonsense of, these guys were on the beach all spring training. Like, no, that's not true. That's dumb.
Dude, the Nationals had a guy, I forget who it was, that swung at an Orion Kerkering slider that hit him in the outside shin. Like, it's day one.
Yeah, it's day one. So just take a deep breath.
And when it happens, and you don't overreact to it.
Yeah, that's all. And that's why, like, I brought up our man Pratik earlier, and I appreciate him listening.
Appreciate you, buddy.
And he's like, what, you want us to have tea during the game? I'd rather have outrage. That shows real passion. It's like, no, it doesn't have to be outrage.
It can be, there's a middle ground.
Yes.
Between having tea and outrage. By the way, I had a cup of tea during the game yesterday.
Yeah, that's good. I had 6 Miller Lights.
I had some Earl Grey, decaf Earl Grey.
You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, WPN, HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia. A BC Media Group station broadcasting live from the Xfinity Studio, Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. Real quick, before we get back to our text messages, as we're trying to figure out our question today, when will people settle in? Was a lot of it yesterday because it was opening day and it was the first game. We're all excited, and then we see the bad performance by the offense the first 6 innings. When will people settle in with this team? One quick note on Romano. I tweeted this out yesterday, but I would like to discuss this on the air. I hate the jersey number.
68?
That's a horrible jersey number. For the guy that's supposed to be the closer or like the high leverage 8th inning guy, 68's got to go. And he's not going to change it now. That's a horrible night. It's going to piss me off all season.
Yeah, it's not a great pick by him. I'm with you.
I feel good about the pickup of him. It may end up being stupid. At the end.
I don't think it's going to be stupid. But it was a flyer for
68
cheap.
did look.
It bothered me.
I don't know. It looked weird.
It looked spring training. You're not going to make the team. Or
so did the performance.
Or here's the September call up. Number 68's available. Like, that's a horrible jersey number for a guy that's supposed to be like the explosive reliever. Come on, man.
You mean the guy that you had 2 of the top relievers in baseball walk away from the team, and then this is what you're going to do to fix it?
68. That bad number.
Nah, not good.
All right, what do we got in the text line?
All right, hang on. I was scrolling back to try and see the old text messages. Now, it looks like we clear some out to red when they go through, so we don't have a lot of ones from yesterday. But Sean checks in. He says, Mackenzie Gore isn't some Joe Schmo. He's a good pitcher. 19 strikeouts still sucks, but it's opening day, and we have 161 to go. We'll be just fine. Go Phils.
I didn't realize he was the third pick in the draft.
Oh, yeah, he's big time.
Yeah,
I knew he was that kind of prospect. I didn't realize he went third in the draft. I don't watch the baseball.
Johnny, if there's a guy on the Nationals, they went top 5 in the draft.
Yeah,
They've been picking top 5 for like
that's a good
20
point.
years.
Well, it could be top 5 second round, top 5 third round.
Yeah, that's true.
I loved the texter's right. Like 19 strikeouts does suck. Like
It's terrible.
I wasn't sitting there going, man, this is fun. No, I was watching it going, oh God, all right, when's the inning gonna happen? When are they gonna finally break through? And I have that expectation because they have proved that to me before. I've seen it. I get it. Maybe against an elite team, they don't end up putting up 7 runs yesterday. But in game 1, you faced a very good starting pitcher who was tremendous, and then you went to the bullpen of a bad team, and you unleashed hell on them.
I seriously, I feel great. I feel great about this team today. Hopefully, it's going to even be better.
And I don't see why it wouldn't be.
No.
Like you got who? Are they going NOLA game 2? Because Santos.
No.
Jesus
Luzardo. I'm sorry, that's right.
It's
You've been
my
talking
coming
about
to
it.
Jesus meeting
Yeah,
tomorrow.
you got the Luzardo game 2.
I can't wait for it.
Like, and I'm excited to see his debut. I'm excited to see it.
I'm very excited to see it. There is a lot of stress. A lot of people stress watch.
The only thing I don't like is the line. Can you play the Thompson audio that we played earlier today? We played this way back around 6:30 this morning. Like, if there's a gripe for me, it's the fact that we are doing what Rob Thompson's going to explain to you here.
I'm just going to try and wiggle it with Trey leading off versus lefties and Schwarber leading off versus righties and see where we go from there.
When you make a decision like that, how much do you talk to a lot of the key guys in the lineup about shifting around?
Talk to them, talk to coaches, analysts, talk to everybody, because it's somewhat of a big decision, but, we can always switch too.
Do you feel like almost too much is made about lineup order?
No doubt.
This is the new line, and again, it's the idea that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
That was the line now. So they went into a room and came out with that line.
You're the only team in baseball where the lineup doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
I've never heard that.
It's overstated. Where guys bat in the batting order, it's overstated.
Then bat Brandon Marsh lead off. Like, lead him off. If it doesn't matter.
They didn't say it doesn't matter. They said it's
Overstated.
people talk
Sorry,
about too
we
much.
make too much of it.
And
Okay.
it's interesting that that has never been the case in baseball.
Ever.
Never been the thought
People talk
process.
about people have been talking about the lineup forever. And here's the deal. It's a legitimate question. And that's the thing. Like, that's where it bothers me with when Dombrowski says
it doesn't matter.
Dombrowski said it didn't matter.
Overstate. Yeah, he did say it doesn't matter.
Rob Thompson says we've been talking too much about it.
Dombrowski said it's overstated.
Yeah, overstated. Okay.
That's exactly what he's saying.
Yes.
Then name me the team that platoons their leadoff hitter. And we had Jeff Francoeur on yesterday. He goes, I don't understand how one guy can bat third in the order and then eighth in the order the next day. You trust him against righties batting third, but you don't trust him enough where you're going to bat him eighth the next day. It does get to the head of the player. Now, clearly there's a plan here. We know that. Trey Turner's going to bat leadoff against lefties.
Do we know what the plan is, though? I mean, as far as...
Yeah, I mean, they made it pretty clear.
When he says tinker around with it, I forget the exact term he uses. We're going to fiddle around with it.
Well, he said we're going to try. We're going to try where Trey's batting leadoff against lefties and Schwarber's batting leadoff against righties. So they know what they're going to do to start the season. Kepler will bat probably sixth against lefties. He'll bat fifth against righties like he did yesterday. But my thing is, I don't like that. I don't like the inconsistency with this lineup. And this is going to be something that's going to be bothering me until they finally set one lineup in stone. I'm just worried that set lineup will be Schwarber as the leadoff hitter, where, again, I went on this rant earlier today. If you missed it, I understand that people want to see more at-bats for Kyle Schwarber. I would like to see more opportunities for him to drive in runs. And if I give you Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Alec Boehm versus Castellanos, Stott, Marsh, so that's 1, 2, 3. Verse 7, 8, 9.
Who's getting on more?
Who's getting on base more? It's the Turner, Harper, Boehm. And if Schwarber's batting behind them, that means there's more of a chance that he's hitting with runners on base. If he is your leadoff hitter and everybody does the whole, you just lead off the game one time, I get it. But that means you're batting behind Stott and Marsh. And oh, by the way, that means left. That That means Schwarber is the third straight left-handed hitter, and that still matters. Clearly, you saw Brandon Marsh with non-competitive at-bats yesterday.
A boat paddle.
The lefty-righty thing does still matter in baseball. People like to ignore things that have been just because they're old.
And JT was having a bad day, too.
He did until he had the big triple.
0 for 4. You had the golden sombrero.
Yeah.
And then him and Marsh. First 4 at-bats, the golden sombrero.
But at least Real Muto drove in 2 runs later on in the game.
Exactly.
Yeah, but Marsh didn't get that last at bat.
You're right.
So
You're
maybe
right. Real
And that
Muto
ball should have been caught.
Yeah.
It was cutting away from him, though.
Hey, triple's a
Into
triple,
the
man.
corner.
All right, give us one more text, Connor.
All right, we got a text here. You guys are going to absolutely love this one for our guy. I believe it's Joe the Cynic. Let me pull it back up
man.
here. Who checks in on the Rob Thompson thing. And it's just, it is Joe the Cynic. He says, Thompson needs to call plays to run the damn ball under center. It's not football season, guys.
Well, there will be people that will act like this is football season.
Yes, they will.
The course of the whole
They'll
year.
put it that way.
And I just want to know, my question for you today, it's 610-632-0975. What will it take for you to finally settle in? And admit it. If you acted that way just because it was opening day and it's the first time you saw this team, maybe you didn't watch that much during the spring, and your last memory was them not having competitive at-bats
against the Mets,
and then your first game this year was non-competitive at-bats for the first 6 innings, okay, just admit it to us. Don't do the whole, this is what I expected. Just admit to us that maybe you overreacted. That's okay.
We all do it.
We read the receipts. People overreacted.
We all do it.
We got today's headlines with Connor Thomas coming your way next. Don't forget Draft Talk with Andrew DeCecco at 8:25. All here, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Mike Missanelli.
I can't say that this team is not good, but you know what I feel about the Phillies is, when you keep putting your whites in the washing machine without a touch of bleach.
on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Andrew DeCecco joins us coming up at 8:25.
This is to check in.
Damn right. And then starting next week, every Thursday, he'll be coming in for about an hour to give us the breakdowns as we get closer and closer to the NFL draft. Because he's the guy I turn to.
He loves the NFL draft.
Yeah.
He has a unhealthy relationship with the NFL.
No, I think he likes pro days more than he likes game days, I think.
He enjoys the study.
It's unbelievable.
He's like
great job.
Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly. Like, he's got a vial of blood of the NFL draft that he wears around his neck. And it may be unhealthy from the outside, but as long as he's happy.
By the way, what do they do with that now that they're not together?
Put it back in.
Do you have to give the blood back? You have to you have to give it back?
Know.
I don't understand. How does that work?
Hold it for ransom.
Blackmail. I don't know. Seriously.
Now, listen, man.
They could put you at a crime scene.
That's what I'm saying.
Someone could set you up with that vial of blood.
The NFL draft would never set Andrew DeCecco up.
Real quick, speaking of Andrew DeCecco, as we got headlines here in a minute, he tweeted this out yesterday around 5:05 when we were in the midst of the Phillies game.
What's that?
He was told that special teams assistant Tyler Brown was on hand at Temple's Pro Day.
Ooh, kicker watch.
To get a clear look on Maddox. Oh! Trujillo. You're
gonna have this city will have that city will have a lot of fun with that.
He hit a 65-yarder yesterday.
Oh, you're kidding
in a dome,
me!
But he hit 65-yarder yesterday.
He is a fantastic talent.
Go Owls, baby!
And you were on the defense for the spring game.
Yes, I was on the defense.
I actually, as someone who actually got to coach Maddox, I think my offense was humming that.
I did a lot of standing. The quarterback who left because he was too scared of North Broad.
Hey, guess
I like
what?
his dad and all, but
but it was fun.
EJ Warner.
Yeah, DJ was.
I got a lot of things to say about him.
You got a lot to say.
All right, what do we got? It's time now. Sorry for today's headlines. Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
I got off track. The guy that's now transferred 4 times.
You don't
he's
like
unhappy
the guy.
anywhere he goes. Yeah, I love that. Well, it's not working here. Let me transfer.
It's not today's Temple. It's today's headlines.
By who?
And it's brought to you by Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. So if you're injured like Andrew Salciunas is when someone transfers out of Temple, if you need them, remember the name. Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Visit lundylaw.com.
Well played, Connor. Well
By the way, speaking of transfer portal, highest number ever in basketball.
It's just going up.
I think they've reached over 700 transfers already. It's insane.
Amazing.
Speaking of college basketball, boys, we had a game yesterday. I don't know if you saw what the Alabama Crimson Tide did, but I wrote down 2 words on this sheet, and I can only say one of them. Holy bleep.
Holy fook.
They shot 51 threes and made 25 of them yesterday in a rout of BYU.
That doesn't seem real. And yes, I was flipping over.
Nah, I'm done.
I was flipping over. It did not. That did not seem real.
College basketball's over. There were no upsets. It's done.
It was unbelievable.
There's still good games, and that was one of the craziest performances I've ever seen. Can you think about other great college basketball performances?
Yes, I think of, as much as I hate to say it, Villanova 85 was what is honestly, I think, the greatest single game performance when they won the national title against Georgetown that I've ever seen in any sport. When you consider the stakes, the stage, the upset, it was freaking incredible. And I hate to compliment Villanova, and it was amazing.
Now, I hated this guy because he was he played for UNC. But I saw a video of Hansbrough the other day.
He was a monster.
Tyler Hansbrough.
Those days are gone. He played all 4 years.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
Those days are gone.
You don't get that.
He would have transferred 6 times if it was today's day and age. But I saw the video of him gushing blood down his face. And I'm like, those days are way behind us.
Yeah, there's still some good games out there to watch, though, with Bama. Speaking of basketball, we're going to stay with it because Chandler Parsons, Joel Embiid's best friend, was talking with Michelle Beadle on Run It Back, which is on FanDuel TV. And they had a conversation about something Giannis said. Take a listen.
So Sam Amick had an article, and in it, Giannis said, quote, "Winning is better than intimacy." But are you buying that?
No.
Oh, let me ask you this. You can get a championship, but you can't be intimate for a year.
No.
Really?
No chance.
This is why you never got out of the first round.
All right, Michelle Beadle.
That is a classic line. That was
a good line by Michelle Beadle.
I had to reach out to Beadle about that one yesterday. That was a good line. That was a great line.
So, boys, intimacy or championships?
Intimacy.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys don't want to win bad enough. Championships.
Listen, some of us do it more than one time a year. You know what I mean? Championships one time.
seriously.
That's true. Well, some of us, that's why I'm picking it. It's 0 versus 1.
Now, if you had gotten to me if the Eagles hadn't won in 2017,
then the story would have been different.
definitely.
Answer would have been different.
Could have been a different answer.
I think didn't Gilly say he would give out intimacy if the Eagles won the Super Bowl?
Yeah, for the Birds, I'd give up just about anything.
Gilly.
Sorry.
Okay, I'm not saying anything.
Now, we had a big miss yesterday because we didn't get a chance to really get into it. Now, I don't care about the controversy or who won or who lost, but we didn't get a chance to talk about knockout. And I want to take the chance to do that and give you guys that platform because it's always a great event run by our promotions team. The Sixers always do a great job putting it together for us. And, I mean, the listeners were awesome. I had a dude give me the shoes off of his feet.
I negotiated that deal for you.
Thank you, Johnny.
And
for doing
boy,
that.
did you.
And then you cried about the shoes.
You did all right.
Well, they didn't fit me. But the bottom line is it was an awesome event, and we just should take the time to say thank you to everybody involved for putting that together.
Yeah, look, I know the season's not been fun, but the fact that the Sixers give us that kind of access and give you, the listeners who did, try to get tickets and won tickets and were a part of it, it is really cool to still step on a professional NBA court and shoot a basketball. Even if you get knocked down in the first round, you got to shoot the basketball on a court. That's awesome.
You saw the joy in people's eyes that they were having a great time.
Yeah, and shout out to Gabby. She won.
Gabby's a winner.
She was just
lights out.
Incredible.
Gabby
10-day contract for Gabby.
Out of my original parish, St. Anastasia in Newtown Square, and Paxton Hollow Junior High. So she is going to be, let's just say, an impact player.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, she can shoot.
It was a fun event. I was cheated. Let's go to break.
It was a lot of fun, and you got what you deserved.
You didn't get
man.
cheated.
I was cheated.
But Bill Colorillo may have cheated.
Bill, he definitely did.
No, he
Not
did
the
not.
cheat. Yes, he did.
You're
not allowed to You're not allowed to impact
He
someone
straight up
else's.
swatted
he
that
swatted
dude's
the ball
ball
away.
away.
From him.
All's fair in love and knockout.
Not fair. Not allowed to do it.
All right, coming up next.
Besides shoes, apparently.
We talk draft.
Just read
with
your
our man
emails.
Andrew DeCecco. We'll get back to the Phillies talk later on, but Andrew DeCecco breaks down the draft as we're less than a month away. Next, Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Strikeouts galore in Game 1. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies and Nationals had their shares of strikeouts in Game 1 of 162. The Phils won the game in extra innings, 7-3. Took 10 innings to decide the victor. 19 strikeouts for the Phils. The Nationals struck out a bunch as well. Zach Wheeler had 8 himself, but the decider was an Alec Boehm 2-out, 2-run double in the 10th. The Phils have the day off today. Jesus Luzardo will face Jake Irvin tomorrow at 4:05 as that series continues. The Flyers played their first game in the post-John Tortorella era. GM Danny Briere talked about the decision to move on from Torch yesterday.
I felt it was time, but it's not one thing. It's a series of things that have happened and probably a little bit more in the last 3 weeks that escalated since probably around the trade deadline.
So until the end of the year, it will be Brad Shaw as the interim for the Flyers, and then they'll have a coaching search to make. They did win yesterday. Flyers took down the Canadians 6-4. Sixers and Flyers are both off tonight. They will both play tomorrow. Andrew DeCecco joins us coming up next for a little check-in ahead of the NFL draft. This update's brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. That feeling of owning your first Mercedes-Benz is hard to believe, but it's real. From the leather stitching to the iconic design, every element of a Mercedes lives up to its reputation. See for yourself at your local dealer. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic, and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Flyers General Manager Danny Briere on the firing of him.
here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Less than a month away from the NFL Draft. So that's why we're going to be joined momentarily by our man Andrew DeCecco, because he's the guy that we can talk to about every prospect in the world. Still the only guy in the world that I was able to speak to that knew who Jalix Hunt was.
He told us about Jalix Hunt. And I was like, that's an interesting little tidbit. And honestly, I rolled my eyes a bit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, okay, that's an interesting little tidbit.
And he ended up being a nice piece for this team. And
really nice.
And now they're expecting a lot more out of him in year two. Just
Absolutely.
like you saw Nolan Smith. But this guy's a third-round pick, and not everybody knew who he was. But Andrew DeCecco did, so that's why we bring him on today, and that's why starting next week he's going to be in with us for at least an hour every Thursday to get closer and closer to the NFL Draft. From Inside the Birds, and of course here on 97.5 The Fanatic, my man, Andrew DeCecco. What's up, Andrew?
What's going on, guys? You guys were the soundtrack of my my morning drive to the University of Maryland. I'm here for their pro day.
Wow. So you were
down
at
to
the
the Terps.
pro day. So who are you going to be keeping a close eye on today when you go down to Maryland?
So they have a defensive back who's a safety/nickel player named Dante Trader, NFL Combine invite. 5'11", 196, so I kind of want to see how he runs. He didn't test at all at the Combine in terms of running, so that could be a fit for the Eagles. They're always looking for a player of that mold. And then the big one, guys, is Jordan Phillips. He's a defensive tackle, and he kind of reminds me a little bit of Milton Williams. I want to see how he moves. I'm curious to see if someone like maybe a Clint Hurtt will be here, an Eagles defensive line coach, or maybe a scout. I'm sure there will be, as he was invited to the Combine as well. I expect the Eagles to look for a defensive tackle in the draft.
From what you've been, I know you have these conversations. When you go to a pro day, are you ears up? I mean, are you hearing? Are you looking to get information from other people that are covering other teams? What do you actually do other than just watch them work out?
I'll talk to scouts. I'll interview the players afterwards. Flag down, a PR member, and you're able to talk to a player or two, and you kind of get a sense for, hey, have you met with the Eagles? Have they shown any interest? Last year I went to Maryland, and Jeff Stoutland, we're going to check in at the same time, and Jeff Stoutland ends up putting some of those offensive line, puts the whole offensive line through a workout, and he brings one of those offensive linemen to mini camp. He didn't make the training camp roster, but it just goes to show you that you can kind of glean, or you're able to see where there might be some interest. And so that's where I find most interesting, just trying to talk to people, get as much information as possible, and maybe cross-reference some things.
So I know you're not at the Florida Pro Day. You were not at the Florida Pro Day, but I got to ask, just because you are a fan of football and physical specimen, Desmond Watson. Did you see, John, do you know anything about Desmond Watson?
I know the name.
6'6", 464 pounds. He would be the heaviest player in the history of the NFL if he were to be selected by a team. Defensive tackle. You got your eyes on him?
No. The Eagles already have a space eater in Jordan Davis, but I do find that those dimensions, Andrew, fascinating. I just have a hard time envisioning him being
464.
I just don't know I don't know the long-term viability of that. I don't think he'll get drafted, but
I don't think so either.
I think that's a safe bet, but that's not to say that he won't be in a camp or anything like that. But yeah, fascinating prospect and interesting dimension.
It's when you think now of everything, every single time, I know you start getting under the hood. Have any opinions changed from looking at talent groupings of players as to where you believe the Eagles' agenda may go in second round, third round, things like that?
It's a great question, John. And the way that I'm kind of looking at how that draft board may fall, and again, we're March 28th here, but the end of the first round, I think there's going to be some good offensive tackles available. Josh Connerly from Oregon, Josh Simmons from Ohio State. Walter Nolan, the defensive tackle from Ole Miss, is a player that I've recently mocked to the Eagles, and I know a number of other folks have as well, including Mel Kiper. In the second round, though, that's where I could see the Eagles go in safety. If there's a player who really fits the mold, then I think Andrew Makuba from Texas would be a really good fit there at 64. Some may think that's a little early, but I think that's right where he's probably going to go, and he would be the ideal fit for a Vic Fangio defense. Very versatile, smart player, a little bit undersized, but I think he is somebody that can grow into that role. And then in the third round, you have to look at tight end, right? Because that's where the Eagles are. There's a big question whether or not Dallas Goedert's even going to be on the roster come training camp, come week one. And there's a lot of reasons why he probably shouldn't, and then there's also a lot of reasons why he should. But either way, you get the sense that his time is coming to an end here in Philadelphia, whether it's this year or even sooner. But I think they need to get his successor in place. I thought last year that would have been the year to do it, but this year the tight end pool was far richer than it was last year. And there's a player I like in Terrence Ferguson from Oregon. Harold Fannin Jr. is a tight end from Bowling Green, who I like quite a bit. Probably is going to go in the second round. And the Eagles have Scott Loeffler as their quarterbacks coach, who of course was with Bowling Green last year. So there's some familiarity.
Do you believe at this point they could bring Dallas Goedert back after all the offseason chatter?
I do see a path in which they do, John. And the reason why is because they don't have a ton of optionality there. He would have to agree to some sort of a drastic restructure, of course. But Grant Calcaterra, in a perfect world, he's not going to be a starting tight end. There's too many deficiencies there. A nice complimentary piece, but again, there's not a lot behind him. There's E.J. Jenkins. There's some future signings there, and some of those, a couple of Harrison Bryant and Kylan Granson, but they're not. I mean, they're going to have to fight to make the team. They don't have a lot of tight end depth. So my point is the Eagles would be better served if they're able to work it out with Dallas Goedert and move forward with him, and then have a younger player learn under him, and so that he's ready to take the reins the next year.
That's the perfect thing for me, because I'd be borderline devastated if you were gone.
All right,
borderline.
Now, the beauty of you, Andrew, we could talk fourth.
He's got
fifth,
lots of beauty to him.
Damn right. We could talk fourth, fifth, sixth round, seventh round prospects with you, but obviously the masses that are listening are intrigued by what happens in round one. So let me ask you this question: rank the likelihood between these three. They use pick 32. They move up from pick 32. They move out of the first round. What do you believe in order is the likelihood of the Eagles with that 32nd pick?
And he can change this answer.
Yes, absolutely.
As the weeks go on.
I reserve the right to change my mind.
Yes.
But I think that they're going to stay in the first round. I don't view them as trading out because that extra year is so valuable. But I would imagine that they would trade up because I do think that there's a world where certain players fall. That happens every year. It's not anything that's super enlightening, but players fall down the draft board that probably shouldn't, a la Quinyon Mitchell last year. So I think that Howie Roseman, in that case, would be aggressive and trade up for a player of that caliber. If should one fall. So I think that's my answer. I think he would trade up.
Okay. I love that, Andrew. Listen, man, thanks so much.
I'd be fine with that, too.
I would be, too. Thanks for coming on, as always. And we can't wait. Starting next week, every Thursday leading up to the draft, you're going to be in with us for about an hour. And we're going to talk more about these prospects and dive really deep into the upcoming NFL draft where the Eagles look to continue to replenish their Super Bowl roster.
Yeah, I can't wait, guys. And how about this morning show combination tomorrow? Early birds, 9 to 12. Behind the glass, we have our guy, Brendan Gunn. I can't wait.
Wow.
I love
By
that.
the way, Andrew was not here for this last week. Salciunas was not. The early birds.
No, you called me.
Oh,
We
there it
talked
is.
about
Named it.
Yeah,
There we
yeah,
go.
I
Named
liked it.
Early birds.
Yeah, early bird. I love it. I think it's a great name. Andrew, thanks, man.
Thanks, buddy.
We'll be listening tomorrow morning.
All right, guys. Take care.
There he is, Andrew Pacheco on the Comcast Business Hotline.
I'll
Every
be
day
on the
this is a big
Capitol
day.
tour and the White House tour.
You're not going to be streaming 97.5 The
So I'm going to
Fanatic?
miss it.
If you have
I'm
a phone,
gonna
you
miss
have
it tomorrow.
a radio, John.
But I can't do that. What if a member of Congress wants to, get my ideas on some issues?
That person should be removed from office.
What if the president comes out and says, John, I could use a few pointers? I got to be ready for this stuff.
I think you'd be escorted before they ask you any sort of political questions.
I got to get moving.
All right, coming up next. So we just had Andrew Pacheco on to talk some draft and some Eagles. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to find a way to make a Phillies-Eagles topic. And John has a question about ownership. We'll discuss that next. It is Kincade and Salciunas on this Friday, Championship Friday, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Tyrone Johnson.
They're in the Sixers territory with better weather. There are certain people that believe they'll never win it.
Kincade Salciunas. And the weather's turned nice. We had opening day yesterday.
80 plus tomorrow, Johnny?
I'm looking forward to that. It's weird. It's like packing for a 2-night trip to D.C., which I get to take the train today, and I am, like you said it today, I'm like a 12-year-old boy going on a train. You have to have, it's going to be cool tonight. We're going out in in D.C., then probably head down to Georgetown, maybe have a cocktail.
I love Georgetown.
And then head to the Phillies tomorrow. It'll be like 60 in the morning when we go on the tours. Then it's going to be like 80 in the afternoon.
Here's how much of a loser I am.
We already know, but tell us.
My wife and I think we just turned 21. You actually, guys saw the photo. My Phillies press pass is from that weekend. You guys I showed you the photo at the Sixers game. Yeah. It's like, it's a baby. I don't have any facial hair, nothing, right? And we went to D.C. for the weekend, but we went to Georgetown. It was right there. And we're at this beautiful bar. The streets are nice, pristine, old architecture. And all I'm thinking about is where did Iverson used to walk around?
Well, not the library. None of the classrooms.
Oh, man, he had a pass, right?
And certainly not economics.
He had a pass.
Certainly not the building where they teach economics.
But that's how much of a loser I am. I'm on a nice romantic getaway with my now wife, but girlfriend at the time, and I'm thinking about where do you think AI used to hang out at? What bar? Where did he go to?
Dude, I picture you as you've seen the movie Good Will Hunting?
Yes.
I see you more as like more of the Ben Affleck type.
Yeah.
Like character that like you're in there and all the very smart kids from Georgetown.
Yep. And I was the guy
and you're
that
in there
wasn't
and they're like, dude,
what, you got to be quoting Gordon Wood?
Exactly. By the way, I scolded I scolded my child for it the other day. She's never seen Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
I said, you guys watch. I think that's a good movie to see, though.
It's a great movie. That's a must.
It's a really good movie.
That's a great movie. All right, you have a question about ownership.
I just want to ask the question to you: Is there an idea for you of your general mindset that you've got about how this offseason was handled, how decisions have been made around the Phillies franchise, and what you think of how John Middleton does it? And then I want you to think, switch Jeffrey Lurie in as the owner of the Phillies. How do you think Jeffrey Lurie would have handled the last 3 years? And do you think that the Phillies would look the same in 2025 if Jeffrey Lurie owned them? Because it's just an interesting question is, Jeffrey Lurie is known for being a little impatient.
Yes.
A little impatient.
I mean, what would the difference be? They pay Soto the $756 million because there's no salary cap, right? So it's not like Jeffrey Lurie is such a great NFL owner because he'll give the signing bonus up front so that Howie can manipulate the cap a little bit. In baseball, there's no cap. There's the luxury tax, but there's no cap. So Jeffrey Lurie could open his wallet as much as he wants. But I don't think John Middleton is a passive owner. I mean, I want my bleeping trophy back. Now, I do believe he's saying, hey, Dave, do the work. Like, Middleton flew out to the Harper signing, right? He was the one that got on the private jet.
And he should be involved. I have no problem with that kind of stuff. I'm just telling you this. I don't believe the 2025 Phillies would look like they do, would maybe even have the same leadership structure if Jeffrey Lurie was running.
I don't know. Lurie was patient with Howie. It got bad.
And Sirianni.
After the Eagles won the Super Bowl, it got bad where the outlook on the Eagles organization, not here locally, yes, obviously here locally, but nationally, when Doug Peterson got fired, there were people that thought it was one of the most disrespectful moves nationally. Former players, former coaches, like, whoa, this guy just brought you your first Super Bowl ever. Your quarterback's been a mess, and you're firing him. He's the guy. Now, they ended up both going. They ended up trading Carson later on, but there were people that were bothered by what Doug was doing. There was a lot of bad stories being written about the Eagles organization. Okay. And Lurie was patient and stuck with them. And look, now it's worked. So I don't know. I don't know how much different Lurie would have done other than opening the wallet up more.
I do not believe and
then the second highest payroll already.
I do not believe I think that first of all, I think Jeffrey Lurie would have written a check to say that you're not having a fifth starter.
Okay,
that literally disrespects the ticket buying public and the franchise.
Yeah.
I think that there would have been a check written, and it would have been over.
I don't know. What about Bryce Huff?
It would have been done.
He'll be
you
back.
can't do that. You can't do that.
He's given less than Walker's given.
No, but he is not tearing down the team where you don't have a chance to win because of it.
Okay.
Right, because he doesn't have to play.
Correct. There's nothing comparable about those two situations. You're trotting out a guy who hasn't been major league caliber now for 2 years, and now you're going to do it for a third when you could write a check and have it go away. I believe that the check would have been written, and he'd be gone. And guess what? Jeffrey Lurie does that in leagues where they have a salary
they did
cap,
it with Wentz.
where there's penalties. Yeah. He does it in a no penalty. There's no penalty at all to just John Middleton strikes a check. It's over
and says goodbye.
He wouldn't do it.
Yeah, but outside of that, I don't know where you can really point to major difference.
No, but that. It's just the approach, and I do believe. No, I believe he would take a loss. How about this? There were discussions about when he tried to trade Nick Castellanos, that they were asking him with 3 years remaining on the contract, that there was too much salary to be eaten. People wanted the Phillies to eat salary if they were going to move him after 2023. Obviously, that check wouldn't be written. I think Jeffrey Lurie would write that check in a second. If he wanted a player gone or if he wanted to make a move, I think he'd write it in a second.
You know
Say,
what?
what do you need to take?
Instead,
it's a non-salary cap sport.
Instead, they were patient, and Castellanos ended up being your best player last year.
I agree with you. But who knows what you would have gotten if you were willing to write the check. You might have had a better option. You could have a better player. You could have better. You could have a better roster.
There weren't many better players available at that position.
Well,
we don't know what's available.
All right, so what would you? All right,
and that's one of the things when this year now I'll tell the story offside. Alex Anthopoulos said he could tell that Connor had played a little ball. He goes, looks like
he looks
when
like
I introduced the thing.
I'll tell you. Bigger.
Well, I'll just let you talk to a major league general manager about that. You hear it all the time. Well, there weren't a lot of guys available. We don't know who's available. And more importantly, you talk to a major league general manager. They will tell you. You will be shocked at players that are available. It's a matter of, would you be willing to pay the price?
Right.
But players are available.
Yeah, but
if you're willing to do it.
In the same way, you can't credit John Middleton for stuff that he didn't do because we don't know. We can't blame him for stuff we didn't do because we didn't know.
Well, no, I'm going to blame him for this one.
No, I'll ask you.
I'm taking full blame.
I'll ask you this. Who, other than Walker, because Walker, I completely agree with you, right? And I think they're just weighing out the course at this point. What else? What
do you think he would be
different? What different move would Lurie?
Jeffrey Lurie, 3 times in his tenure that I can think of, demanded staff changes of the head coach. Demanded staff changes. Andy Reid did it multiple times. Doug Peterson did it once and then quit over it the second time. Jeffrey Lurie said, change coaches up.
Yeah, but what staff change would you have made?
Well, do you think they're hitting a coach? You think they're hitting approaches good?
Again, you're talking to the wrong guy.
No, but do you think it's good? I don't. I think they have one of the worst approaches in the league for the payroll they've got. Terrible approach. They even talked about it. The general manager and the manager talked about it.
Yeah, but then
the hitting coach talked about it.
Hang on, they also said buy-in from the players.
I got
they took it off Kevin Long.
At some point, what do they always say, Connor? What do they always say in sports? Can't fire 25 guys. You got to change up the voice.
Yeah, I think the difference is negligible if you switch Jeffrey Lurie and John Middleton. I think they're both very, very, very good.
I'm a fan of it. I definitely don't believe that it would be an easy check to write for Taijuan Walker.
Yeah.
For a billionaire. And Jeffrey Lurie would absolutely stroke it. Absolutely.
Jesus.
No, that's terrible. The check, for God's sakes.
Go to break.
Get your heads out of the gutter.
God.
Get your heads out of the gutter.
Out of context today, right?
Yeah, that is. Guess what? They could use it.
Best show ever.
That's unbelievable.
We reset the show next here on Kincade Salciunas. Wow, Mr. Lurie. 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
1-0 start to the season for the Phils. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies took down the Nationals and Extras on opening day, 7-3 in 10 innings. They start the season 1-0 despite striking out 19 times. The offense woke up late, ended up with the 7 runs we talked about. Alec Bohm, the big hit in the game, a 2-out, 2-run double in the 10th. Zach Wheeler was excellent in his start, going 6 innings of 2-hit ball with 8 Ks. The Phillies have the day off tomorrow, or today. They play tomorrow. Jesus Luzardo will face Jake Irvin at 4:05 down down in Washington. The Flyers played their first game post-John Tortorella era yesterday. Brad Shaw is now their interim head coach after the team parted ways with Tortorella yesterday morning. He's 1-0 as the Flyers took down the Canadiens 6-4. Danny Briere, GM of the team, talked about the decision to move on from Torts yesterday.
I felt it was time, but it's not one thing. It's a series of things that have happened, and probably a little bit more in the last 3 weeks that escalated since probably around the trade deadline.
Sixers and Flyers are both off today. They'll both play tomorrow. This update is brought to you by Corona. Don't miss the Mike Missanelli Show live from Chickies and Pete's on the Boulevard in the Northeast on March 31st for the home opener. Thanks to Corona. Join him from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for awesome prizes, $5 Corona bottles, and $4 Modelo drafts. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philadelphia Sports.
It is a beautiful Friday.
By the way, last break was not my fault.
What was the problem?
I was talking to Jim Antes.
Well, you got to talk to Jim.
When the salespeople are a call.
If Jim wants to talk, you talk.
You got to answer their call, man.
I had a listener to sending me stories about the pyramids.
I'm having listeners send me stories about what you said about Mr. Lord.
Well, that's terrible.
You see the pyramids thing with the coils underneath them?
Okay,
and stuff?
now I'm seeing where one of my listeners goes, how come Connor has not covered the pyramid story in headlines? It's a big miss.
No
on
idea
our
what you're
part.
talking about.
There is Italian experts in what do you call it? Engineering.
Okay.
That have done radar sonar images now below the pyramids. And they claim that there are these towers or tunnels and an underground city beneath the pyramids.
Oh, is that right?
That's what
metal
they claim.
coils and stuff.
Now they're claiming. Now the thing is, they can't tell the density of some of the stuff that they see.
Okay.
They believe could be, as Connor's saying, like a metal coils, like a shock absorber type system, and also the basis of a water system.
I'm fascinated. I'm so in on this.
So now I'm fascinated. But the thing is, though, then there literally is just gigantic debates that the technology is not good enough. They can show you the pictures.
Yeah.
But the technology is not good enough to show you, is it stone?
Oh, man.
Is it rock formation where there's water in the rocks? That they have like giant stalactites, stalagmites
Hanging.
that are just under it,
Yeah.
like gigantic ones. You ever done the Luray Caverns? It's awesome.
I need the
It's
I
fun.
needed my
I think
tin-
you'd love
I need
it.
my tinfoil now.
I think you'd love it.
Yeah,
So
we're pro pyramid.
Well, this
I'm
guy,
locked
so
in on this.
Jack wants, he goes, how come Connor's missed this story for a week? Well, it's because there's a lot of misinformation about it, too.
Also, Jack, we're a sports show.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah.
But he wants in headlines, he says you guys like to.
How about
he goes-
post-show headlines?
Because you like to hit on this.
Post-show headlines,
There you
we'll
Who
dive
built the
we'll dive
pyramid?
deep into
610,
this. Yeah.
632.
There you go.
You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, WPN, HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibility. So here's what we've been talking about today. The Phillies won yesterday, and no, it was not pretty. The first 6 innings were wretched offensively. Now, shadows did play a factor into the game. Alec Boehm straight up talked about it right after the game, in which he had the big RBI double in the win. So it's not like they lost 7-2 and they're in the clubhouse going, oh, no, but the shadows are the reason why we lost. Alec Boehm, after a great moment, he straight up just went right away and brought up the shadows. And look, whether you want to believe it or not, they ended up scoring 7 runs after the shadows went away. Right? Like,
They did.
it did happen. Like,
All of a sudden, there it was.
yeah, and the Nationals scored 1 run when the shadows were still out there. Okay, so it was a 1 run. It was 1-0 through 6 innings. So maybe the shadows were a factor. What we're trying to figure out today is when or if there will ever be a time for those who have been manic already through 1 game. When will you settle in? Now, I settled in for a ball game yesterday. My son wanted to watch. It was amazing for me. Did I love seeing 13 strikeouts from Mackenzie Gordon? No, I didn't. It's game 1 of 162. You were settled in. Connor was settled in. Now, we did have our grouses.
Our group text was funny.
Yeah, we had our grouses.
But I mean, it's like you can grouse about anything you want, but the proper perspective needs to be kept.
yeah,
Let's
we
do
checked
this.
the receipts earlier, and there were some crazy ones earlier today.
Little exercise to let the people know we're like them. We understand where they're coming from a little bit. Were there points in the game, I'm sure there were, where you were actually a little upset? And what were those points? Because for me, I only had 2. The going down the Stott Marsh back-to-back looking with runners in scoring position.
That's bad.
It's like, damn it, guys. And the Jordan Romano outing. Outside of that, I didn't have any moments where I was like pissed at the team.
Brandon Marsh is at bats.
And his center field play.
And his center field play, his just inability to, you got to convert routine stuff. You got to
it's
have
a
the
tough play
routine
to
in.
play,
I don't
but
think
he-
it's
but he
routine.
took- But he took a bad read on
but if
both
he
balls.
didn't, it was not even a chance because of the fact that he didn't have proper instincts.
Should have made the play.
His instincts aren't good.
Yeah, he's a major league outfielder. Both plays should have been made.
And you got a better defensive. The thing is, if you're going to suck at the plate, and I'm going to give it patience.
I know
I'm
you
not
will.
judging it on 1 game, but if you're going to suck at the plate, you better be exceptional in the field. Exceptional.
Yeah.
A difference maker. Saving runs, not helping to give up more runs.
I think the one thing that I didn't like, and I knew it was coming because they announced it pretty much the other day during the final spring training game. I just want Real Muto and Castellanos flipped. Real Muto should not be the 5-hole hitter on this team.
No, he shouldn't.
And I'm a big JT fan, but he should not be the 5-hole hitter. I know he had the big triple yesterday that broke the game open, but he's not that hitter anymore.
I like it.
Why? Tell us why.
Because the bottom of the lineup could be a mess. Like
if
if
you went Real Muto, stop Marsh.
Yeah, if Real Muto has a bad year, Stott has a bad year, Marsh has a bad year. And you could say that about any player if they have a bad year. But those were three of your underperforming hitters last year. And you're going to hit them back to back to back. Like, I think it's a balancing thing more than a thing about those individuals.
But then I worry about killing momentum. Like, Real Muto, let's not act like he wasn't Mr. GIDP last year.
No, I got you.
Double play. Like,
I'm not saying it's ideal. I'm just saying I think it's more about leveling the lineup than it is they think Real Muto's better than Castellanos. I think it's the opposite, and they need to balance the bottom.
I think you're starting to overthink it then, if that's the case. Like, I get it. You want to avoid 3 straight outs.
Oh, hey, but you're Mr. The lineup matters.
Yeah, I think Stott's going to hit. I don't think Stott's going to be some 230 hitter. Like, I think he'll be fine. I like him where he's at. I don't trust Marsh or Rojas, whoever's in that 9 spot.
Why is it, though, that people seem to have complete grace for – I'm leading to something.
Mm-hmm.
With Stott, complete grace for figure anything out. And for the most part, there's been a lot of impatience for Bohm. It's been approached by Bohm, the immature approach to things, but also is that Stott, they see, he's exceptional. He's exceptional at his position, fielding his position. I need Marsh to at least be really good at it.
Yeah.
Or if you're not going to be if you're just going to be mediocre at the plate, I need you to be really good defensively.
I think the Stott Bohm thing, because look, Bohm's been an exceptional player. I just don't like the attitude. That's all. Which
I like it though. I like Bohm. I liked what again.
That drives in close to 100 runs. But here's the deal.
I liked what I heard yesterday.
I think when it comes to Stott versus Bohm's 6'5",
6'6", maybe
6'6".
even.
Like, you expect more out of him because you expect more power out of him.
Right.
I don't expect pop out of Bryson Stott. I just want him to hit.
No, I don't want.
Right. I saw him hit 280 2 years ago, which is why I think people are more patient with Stott. Like, I think Alec Bohm, you've kind of seen his ceiling. Now, that's still a good ceiling. Driving in close to 100 runs he's not going to hit. When is he going to hit 25 home runs?
Yeah.
Probably never.
Yeah, that's
Probably
what I'm saying.
never.
Like, I think who you've seen out of Alec Bohm the last 2 years is who you're going to get, and that's not bad. That's not a bad
have
thing.
No problem as long as he's still fielding the position well too, and he has worked hard to become a better fielder.
Yeah,
that is impressive to me.
Yeah, but Andrew brings up a great point. Like, Bryson Stott, when you look at him, he's who you expect him to be, right? And Alec Bohm, when you look at him, he doesn't play the way you expect him to be. So it's just this idea of he should have more based on the build and the position and the look and everything. I do also think there's a likability part of it, too, when it comes to the fan base. Bryson Stott's attitude is always great. You never hear anything about him. Alec Bohm, the conversation has always been the mental stuff.
People have their favorites. I mean,
exactly.
We know that. But, like, if we're talking strictly baseball, like Alec Bohm, you probably wish you would get a little bit more from. Even though
I'm okay. Okay is that I just want a level approach. Again, it's what we talked about on the show yesterday. I want to see the Phillies as a collective unit this year, not have a 50 to 60 game stretch where they are, or 70 like last year, where they are a below 500 baseball team.
Yeah.
With that payroll, it should never happen. With that talent, it should never happen. I'm asking them to do that. And I think that a more level-headed approach by Bohm, Stott getting things worked out, will all contribute to that.
Absolutely. I agree with you. All right, what do we got on the text line, Connor?
All right, Mark from Hatboro checks in and says, wait a second. You're telling me people are upset about yesterday's game when we won? I don't understand. It's baseball. These things happen, but we ended up with a win. What is the problem here?
I love that person. I'd like to watch baseball with them.
Now, we have been reading the tweets that were being sent out in innings 1 through 6.
Yeah, we gave the times.
Which was not fun. Innings 1 through 6, unless you're just like a baseball fan. Like, if you're going to watch the Phillies, right? Like, we talked about this yesterday with Connor. Like, I'm sure Connor was not necessarily enjoying himself the first 6 innings of the game.
Sure.
Like, Mackenzie Gore struck out 13 batters yesterday. I don't think people have been upset necessarily since the game has ended. Right? Did you guys get a sea of tweets after the Phillies won?
No,
because they get quiet afterward. The same people that are very active online when things aren't going well,
right,
are very quiet when things do go well. There's a lot of people like that. So I think people are ultimately happy that they won. I think people just were very upset the first 6 innings, which I can't blame anybody. It's just it's when people go too far saying this is who they are. Like, I got the Dennis Green They are who we thought they were. Like, really?
Yeah.
What did you think they were? A team that's going to not win baseball games? Because they're going to win 90-plus this year.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the letting it breathe.
I got a tweet at one point yesterday. Are you going to stop crying that people aren't excited? And it's like,
what?
I'm not crying. I'm just questioning why people aren't excited for a team that's going to win 90-plus games. This was during the first.
When you're hearing that, I mean, it's like it just is. It is very surprising. But I think baseball's tough. It's a tough sport because you are going to ride the emotional wave. You're going to ride it up and down.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people.
Yeah, but that's understood. Do you like sports or not? And if you like sports, why don't you act like you like sports? Like that's just kind of where I'm at.
I try to do it in 10-game increments, man. Like I can't freak out over 6 innings. What else we got? Give us another text.
All right. We also have a check-in here from Mike from Phoenixville. A little positivity here. He says Wheeler's a beast and a great opening day win. I do think the bullpen is questionable and lefties are going to be an issue for this team, but I'm happy they're 1-0.
The bullpen was good yesterday except for one guy.
Yeah.
So to say that the bullpen's questionable when Kerkering had the 2 hits that he gave up were bloopers, right? Kerkering gets out of it. Alvarado did what we kind of expect to do. Strahm was fine. It was just Romano. And I'm expecting him to be okay.
Strahm, I was figuring to me, Strahm was on the struggle bus.
You were up 4 runs.
But he was on the struggle bus.
Yeah, he was going to.
I just like at that
point. The mentality
point,
pitching to just get 3 outs is a lot different than, hey, we need you to get out of this jam. Like he had a runner on second. That's a weird way to start an inning, and he just had to get 3 outs, and he did it. You know?
There you go.
Now, Strahm does give me fits at times.
I like Strahm a lot, so I'm hoping we're going to see a lot more efficiency because I feel very comfortable when he comes in.
He missed some time with the shoulder inflammation and all kinds of stuff. All right, coming up next, Johnny is going down to D.C. after the show.
Can't wait.
And you'll be seeing the Phillies play, and you'll see the debut of Jesus Luzardo. How good can this rotation really be? You texted me something yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That it could be really, really good. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Mike Missanelli, Bill Colarulo, and Ray Dunn. They have a lot to say about Philadelphia sports.
The final hour of Kincade Salciunas is presented to you by The Bagster. It's a dumpster in a bag. You can get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's. You need details? Go to Bagster.com.
By the way, Connor, you missed a major story in headlines today. I
missed everything.
That did not include secret cities under pyramid.
It's a 5-minute segment.
See, this is the problem when you do the Phillies only. You got to branch out to the rest of the league.
I did 2 basketball stories.
You missed a major story that has continued for 6 straight years.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is amazing.
It is.
Tyler O'Neill, for the 6th straight opening day, hit a home run. That's insane. That is incredible. Imagine 6 straight opening days.
Opening day merchant.
Yeah, that's fine.
But what is it?
I would sign him.
Like, what is it?
The complete randomness of baseball.
I would sign him to a one-day contract.
That's truly random.
I mean, think about that for a second. 6 straight years hitting an opening day home run. So
when you know pitchers are supposed to be ahead of hitters.
Yeah, exactly. Todd Hundley did it from 94 to 97. Gary Carter, 77 to 80. And Yogi Berra did it 55 to 58. But this guy's now 6 straight seasons.
Wow.
Like, that's...
No, it is wild.
And now at this point, I think you're just trying to do it, I would think, right?
I think it's wild that you have...
It's crazy.
That you have it with Bryce Harper having as many as he's had.
Yeah, but he's got 6 in his career. This guy's 6 straight.
But I'm still saying I think that's crazy. An opening day home run 6 times. I think it's crazy.
Yeah,
let alone all in a row.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, didn't he do like 3 against who was was it Jair Jurgens or who was the guy for the Braves that he just had that he would?
Was that an opening day?
And I think he faced him multiple times on opening day.
Jair Jurgens.
That's just a guess. I don't know if it was Jair Jurgens. It was somebody with the Braves. But yeah, crazy that Tyler O'Neill, and he had 31 bombs last year and 34 in 2021. But it's not like he's been a perennial power hitter in his career. 9, 5, 7, 34, 14, 9, 31.
I like that.
He's got 6 straight opening day home runs. All right, you're going to your first game of the 2025 campaign tomorrow.
Yeah, looking forward to it down in D.C.
And you get to see the debut.
It is my coming to Jesus meeting.
It's great.
I can't get over what at the time the moves made, and it's sort of quiet and not really talked about. And as I told you, I shared with the thoughts of a Major League Baseball general manager who said he hated seeing the Phillies get Jesus Luzardo.
I love that.
Hated it, saying that this guy is an absolute difference maker and would be more, if healthy, top of the rotation, close proximity for many, many teams that would be playoff teams.
Yeah.
So to me, I need to look. So again, I've watched him pitch before, but I'm really interested to watch him pitch with a lineup behind him like this. And I wonder if it changes also the approach.
I think it absolutely does.
That he'll feel a little more loose.
He's played for the Marlins and the A's in his career. Like
Correct.
And I know he pitched in the playoffs for the Marlins, but he has not necessarily been on successful franchises in his major league career. And it does help having that lineup behind you and having a decent defense behind you. So that's cool. Now, you said something in the text message that you think this really could go down as one of the best rotations ever in Phillies history.
I think it very well could. If you're telling me, if in baseball circles, Luzardo was looked at as a guy that is on some playoff teams, he could be top side of the rotation proximity.
Yeah.
And on a regular team, he might be an average team. He might be their number 2 starter.
Right.
If that's the guy they've got for this rotation, and I'm projecting 10 starts, 8 starts for Painter, 9 starts maybe second half. This could be the Phillies' greatest rotation.
Dark horse Cy Young candidate Christopher Sanchez that baseball people are talking about.
This could be their greatest.
We know Zach Wheeler. We know what Aaron Nola brings to the table.
Yep. Could be the greatest rotation.
And last year was a lot of fun, too. And Connor has been saying that as well. So, and that's why, this season's going to be fun. But whatever. So yesterday, we gave you the receipts. Our man Ryan Field. I love
this.
Ryan tweeted at us saying, "Why can't people just be consistently level-headed like me during the games? It's a long season. And he sends the laughing emoji because here's his string of tweets during the game. First, one of the best days of the year, happy opening day. And he's got the Broad Street Bombers t-shirt on, right? So he's welcoming in opening day. Then the tweets follow. And the Phillies suck again. Then he did the Bryce in all caps because he hit the home run. Then Kyle Schwarber in all caps because he hit the home run. Followed by Romano blows. Followed by Stott is clueless. Followed by Bowman all caps because of the big double.
I think Ryan is one of the more clever followers. Let's just put it that way. He is a really he's been known to ride emotional roller coasters a bit.
I just can't.
But I think he has
watch a ball game that way.
I couldn't
man.
either. But I think he's got self-awareness. That's a guy who is extremely self-aware.
Yeah, he knows it.
Yes, that's good.
I go back to our man Pratik saying I'd rather be outraged than drinking tea during a game. And it's like, how about in the middle?
No, let's not. There has to be a way.
How about you grouse when it's time to grouse and you celebrate when it's time to celebrate and you realize that yesterday was game 1 of 162?
It's so funny. Like there were literally, I put out the tweet at the end of the game saying, wow, no seed baths, no water dumping, no nothing.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? You know, maybe it'd be different. There were, until then, there was one engagement farmer who constantly just comes. If you post something, he's going to be negative.
Yeah.
It was a cavalcade of people going, yes. Maybe there's a little more maturity this year.
Bryce Harper said
maybe
no more daycare.
Maybe there's and then it's one. Then you get Dylan McTrollan this morning. It's like, I'd go for it. I'd like it. So very few people responded like that. Now I get another guy going, people don't want to have any fun. It's not about that. Listen to Bryce Harper's words. Listen to the general manager and the president talk about the team. It's about time that they need to take a step forward.
Bryce Harper straight up said
need to grow up a little
bit. It's not the daycare anymore, and I love that.
It is.
It's holding everybody accountable the same way.
Yes.
There's no more Marsh, Bowman, Stott are going to get better. They're 27, 28 years old.
My gosh, Bohm's pushing 30.
Yes.
I mean, it's like there's no kids anymore.
Oh,
and
man.
yes, the annex are cute. Every single game. Nah, I think that people tired of it.
All right, coming up next, we're going to have a special guest on.
Uh-huh.
Big moment in his career. Bob the Hound Kelly is retiring from his duties with the Flyers front office.
Which is incredible.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Before we speak to the Hound, we'll play a couple clips from Danny Briere yesterday during his press conference after the team moved on from head coach John Tortorella. That comes right next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phils win on opening day. I'm Connor Thomas, and it was a W for the Phils in their first action of the year. They took down the Nats in extras on opening day, 7-3 in 10. Despite striking out 19 times in the game, the Phils offense did heat up a little late. Alec Boehm hit a 2-out, 2-run double in the 10th to make the difference in the game. They added on in a JT Realmuto triple. Zach Wheeler was excellent as usual, going 6 innings of 2-hit ball with 8 Ks. Jordan Romano, a rough debut for him. So we'll see what shakes out as the season continues. They have the day off today. Jesus Luzardo is going to face Jake Irvin tomorrow at 4:05 down in Washington. Flyers played their first game in the post-John Tortorella era. Brad Shaw is now their interim head coach. He's 1-0. Flyers beat the Canadiens 6-4 last night. GM Danny Briere talked about the decision to move on from Torch yesterday.
I felt it was time, but it's not one thing. It's a series of things that have happened, and probably a little bit more in the last 3 weeks that escalated since probably around the trade deadline.
We'll keep you updated on the news that comes out post-John Tortorella's, we'll call it a firing, from the Philadelphia Flyers. The Sixers and Flyers are both off tonight. They both play tomorrow. This update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Your local Staples store has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. Save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Ricky Bottalico.
Everybody thought that when
to our Phillies text messages and comments here coming up in a minute or two. But yesterday, toward the end of the show, right around this time yesterday, was when the news broke that the Flyers parted ways with John Tortorella.
And he fired himself.
Yeah, with what the comments that he made the other day.
Yeah, he took himself out. You know, after the Toronto game, I'm not interested in learning to coach this way at this point in my career. At that point, the fact is he didn't understand the mission. And that shocks me. Or he got tired of the mission.
Yeah, he could have just gotten tired.
Because, again, when I got on the plane Saturday, March 1st, this was to go out of the country. This was a 500 hockey team.
Yeah.
Now, they got gutted by the trade deadline.
Yes.
They were gutted by
Which they should have done.
Danny Briere did exactly what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
And at that point, the head coach is not supposed to get ultra frustrated with what's going on. But there was a lot of, we lost our teammates. We're having trouble getting up for the games. And they literally said that stuff that is quiet loud.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard getting used to not having teammates here, and it's very deeply emotional. Shut up! You're professional athletes. Literally. You're pro athletes. I don't want to hear about it. And I think John Tortorella just was like, okay, I can't deal with this.
Yeah.
To me, that's the job he had to know was coming.
Yeah.
Especially when you leave a bunch of kids behind that not emotionally as mature as a veteran team.
Right. And they played yesterday. There was only 9 games left, so it's not like this was a mid-season firing or like 3 weeks into the season. There's 9 games left.
It's an end.
Everybody has the mission.
I think it was good, though, honestly, and you know how big a Torts fan I am.
Yeah.
I think it was good to have him exit. Because just getting more information on it yesterday and everything, I think it was good to have him exit. Because there's no reason to have somebody poisoning the well.
Right.
And if you don't understand the mission at the end, but as I shared earlier in the show, a very well-placed source close to the situation said to me, you know, John, if people in your industry took 10 minutes to read the 2 interviews that Matvei Mishkov offered within this past year to foreign press, because there's a language barrier for him to be able to speak freely. But you can read them, and you can read them translated. He spoke glowingly, with admiration, with respect, and with understanding of what John Tortorella was doing for him. And by the way, when Tortorella was fired yesterday, he was 7 points higher than what was projected to be Matvei Mishkov's rookie year offensive production.
Right.
And he's playing with tomato cans. He's playing with a bunch of tomato cans.
Yeah, he is.
So I've heard a lot in the last 24 hours offered in analysis, and I would say Google can be your friend. It's easy to read because Matvei Mishkov already has spoken. I heard yesterday that, he was destroying Mishkov. He was causing problems for Mishkov. That is complete bull crap. And Mishkov would tell you that if you just read it for yourself.
Yep.
It's simple. But there are people with a little derangement when it comes to torts. And by the way, I understand it because he wasn't perfect.
No, he wasn't. He's a lot.
I think that John Tortorella's power play, his entire tenure, has been almost flat out disgraceful. The Flyers' power play is ridiculously bad, and it's never changed. And I put that on the head coach. Mm-hmm. It's not all great with Tortorella. You're not going to get 100% great, but man, there was a lot of misinformation yesterday.
So John,
that
we
just
got to
could
read
be
about
cleared
the
up.
pyramids. I don't have time to read about that.
Exactly. It's just it really does, and it frustrates people. It frustrates people too because it's a sport that doesn't get a ton of coverage.
Right.
And then when something like this happens, you go and talk to the people around the sport that work in it, and they're like, who are these people? Like, who are they? And did they take 10 minutes to do some research on the opinions they're offering? Because their opinions are incorrect.
Let's play a couple clips for you. Danny Briere obviously spoke to the media yesterday. He was asked if, obviously, the comments were what kind of got him out the door. And Danny Briere said it wasn't one specific thing with Torts.
I felt it was time. And, you're going to ask me, is there one thing that happened? It's not one thing. It's a series of things that have happened, and probably a little bit more in the last 3 weeks that has escalated since probably around the trade deadline right after that. So, like I said, it's not one thing specific. It's an accumulation that have happened probably more often lately.
And there it is.
He straight up said 3 weeks ago around the trade deadline.
If you don't understand, if you don't understand the mission of coaching a team that's in a rebuild, which I know he did because his teaching of young players is he's got some tremendous skill set. But you got to understand the mission. Danny Briere had to gut the team. Yeah, he had to do it
to set yourself up. To continue the rebuild.
I love what they did.
As you've said, as long as they hit. Now they got hit.
Now you got to hit.
Yeah.
And by the way, they've done a really nice job. There is a lot of, when I tell you, there is a lot of young talent in the funnel that is coming. So, but this is the next year, this year and next year. Those two drafts are going to completely determine what happens.
Yeah, but screw hitting the picks. They're already a step further. In past times to try and kind of quasi-rebuild this team, they never had a mission. They didn't have a true standard.
Chuck Fletcher never had a plan. That's the thing. That
Chuck
was the
Fletcher
worst
doubled
part.
down on trying to win.
Yeah, that was the worst part about him as the general manager of the Flyers. He didn't have a plan.
He wanted to win. No, his plan was, I want to make myself look good.
Yeah.
I don't want to. You have to do it. And to me, it is. As a Torts fan, it is a shame on Tortorella that this is the way it ended. And I don't think you don't understand.
I don't blame him if he got exhausted.
He got exhausted with it, but you can't. You're a leader of men. That was, after the Toronto game, was not good stuff.
No. Yeah, he has a right to be tired of it. The Flyers have a right to stick to their guns and their principles of the rebuild. Yeah. Everybody comes out in the space they want to be.
Now, last clip for you. Here was Danny Briere talking more about John Tortorella, and I love how he says he's a complicated man.
No, we always had him along the way, and look, Torts is a complicated man. He's a complicated coach. He's a blast to work with because he challenges you. I truly believe he made me a better GM. I loved working with him, and I think he loved working with me. He's not a yes man, and he had opinions, and he's earned the right to share his opinion, and we listened to him. But again, myself, Keith Jones, Dan Hilferty, we felt at this time it was time to move in a different direction
because he didn't agree. He didn't agree with the plan.
That's such an honest assessment.
Yeah.
But the number one reason that John Tortorella is out of a job is because of the fact that this is where his belief in what the plan needed to be and Danny's belief, they're going in different directions.
Yeah.
And guess what? At that point, Danny Briere should show him the door.
Now,
at that point, you got to show him the door.
Now, here's the thing. I don't know what Tortorella was. Did he think he'd win with Scott Lawton?
No, I think he just thought that it's there was a who are younger players learning from? Who are younger players learning from? I want these guys to be around so younger players to learn from. I want players that also understand the mission
nice
of what
vets
it is
to have around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the other thing too is saying you're up for a rebuild and going through the rebuild are two totally different things. Like signing up for this job is like, yeah, I can do that. And then at some point you might get to it and you're like, man, this is not as enjoyable as I thought it was going to be. I'm over this. He's got that right.
Yeah, and I think too that he knew he's going into a contract year. So
it's like money.
It's
like Moneyball.
Right.
When the manager was like, yo, dude, who do you want me to play out there?
Now, I need
a job after this.
I hope this team loses every game the rest of the way.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Because right now they're sitting in the
8 games left.
Fifth most ping pong balls or whatever the formula is. And they have a very big chance to get to 4th and an outside chance to get to 3rd.
8 games left, baby.
So come on.
All right, what do we have on the text line about our fighting Phils there, Connor?
It's been buzzing this morning. A lot of people checking in. Eddie from Camden says, regardless of the season being 17 games or 82 or 162, people are allowed to react however they want. Everybody is different by nature. Let us watch the games the way we like. Don't tell people we won't be happy when we watch the game the way we like.
Well, you're not going to be happy. Like I'm telling you right
now.
You're
not if you're doing that.
I will tell you, Eddie, you will not be happy if you watch baseball the way that the people watched baseball yesterday. You can be a fan any way you want. I'm not telling you to not watch it that way. If that's how you watch baseball, living and dying by every single pitch, that's your prerogative. You can do whatever you want. But what I said at the beginning of the show, I'll say it again in case you weren't listening way back at 6 o'clock. If I watched baseball the way that a lot of people watched the Phillies game yesterday, my hair will be the same shade as John Kincaid's by October.
You'd be so damn lucky to have this shade.
I want that shade years from now, but I'm not ready for it at the age of 31. All right? I like my brown hair right now. I'm not ready for that just yet. If people watch baseball like that on a daily basis, you're going to drive yourself crazy.
The only person in Philadelphia who's going to be happy if we watch Phillies baseball the way that some people did yesterday is heart surgeons. Yeah. Because people are going to be losing it.
I can't do it that way. You can do whatever the hell you want. I will never try to tell you how to be a fan. My only thing is...
Yeah, it's weird, too, is we're not saying... You can do whatever you want.
You know what? The thing that does bother me, and I'll be honest, it's this team stinks, but then the second they get to the playoffs, I know you're going to Rally House. It's your city. It's your house.
Oh, I guarantee it.
And it's like, well, you've been bashing them all season long. Now all of a sudden you're Mr. Number One fan.
You're welcome on in.
Like, I want you to be a part of it, but it's just, I find that a little odd. It's like, I have my friends' backs through thick and thin. What am I going to do? Only be behind them when they're going well, and then when things are going poorly, I walk away and say, hey, it's your problem, not mine?
That's what I do with you guys.
I know.
Worked out so far for me.
All right, coming up next, we have our Key 3. We'll sneak in some more text messages as well as we react to the reactions of opening day here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Tyrone Johnson, Ricky Vitalico, and Silvana Kelleher. The best show.
Championship Friday morning, Johnny. Key 3 coming our way up at 9:48.
I'm so glad you got to that. Love it.
Right. Connor.
Hello.
I got to ask you, the former elite, exceptional Division III baseball pitcher that you were.
Correct.
What do you think if you reared back, fully stretched out? What do you think you're still touching on the gun today? I'm not saying back in your prime.
Yeah, I think I got 77, 78 still in me.
All right. My man, did you see him? His opening day.
Oh,
Ichiro, man. So Ichiro throws out he's been doing it the last couple of years where he throws out the first pitch. He comes out in full uniform, which I think is awesome. 84 on the gun. First pitch.
Wow. 84?
84, dude.
Okay, I would have bet almost anything.
He used to touch 90s, just he played outfield.
Right. I would have bet that he would get nowhere close to 84.
At 51 years old.
I would have thought 84,
back,
he's not getting close.
And he's going from the mound. He doesn't want to do this
no.
from the little grass patch. He's like, no, I'm towing the rubber.
Have you done that yet?
What?
Thrown out a first pitch in Major League?
No.
In any game?
No.
You've never done that?
One day.
Who's calling?
You going from the mound? Because I'm going from the mound.
We did 10-year Buck and Kincade.
Okay.
We did it at the Braves.
We've only finished one, my
anxiety? Man. There's anxiety and there's that. Just the pressure of it.
Oh, I'm good.
As everyone's
I'd
watching.
be fine.
Fine?
I pitched on a mound this Sunday.
So you would be expected, though, to throw a perfect pitch. No, it has to be perfect because you're still playing.
Well, there's 3 options. You can either throw like the perfect strike. You can just throw gas to the point where they're like, who cares where it goes? He threw this hard.
Yeah, I'm not doing
Ichiro's
that.
ball almost got over the guy catching it.
Yeah.
Oh, it did elevate.
The guy,
I didn't see.
Come on, man. Edgar Martinez, the guy.
I didn't see who it was.
Man, and another legend.
Or you could try and break one off, which might be my strategy because I don't throw that hard.
Yeah, I wouldn't do the
nice little
lob.
slide piece.
All you have to do is throw a pitch over the plate.
Yeah, I wouldn't do the lob, but I'm not rearing back. I'm just like, like when we're out there with the
I gotta look.
the spongy ball.
I think mine was more in the strike zone than Buck's.
Wow.
But I didn't. But mine probably took twice as long to get there. It's one of those.
It's the tourist versus the hair.
Because you're nervous. No, you're nervous.
Doesn't matter,
no,
man.
I was nervous of being terrible at it. So I just practiced that and practiced that. I practiced it for 3 days.
Did they let you warm up in the tunnel, or is it boom? You're right out there.
You're out there. But we were throwing underneath, just getting warm. But that was
so they do, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
you just
stretch it, but it's not.
Oh, okay. I didn't know they actually got to
you're
warm
in
up.
the alleyways where they do. You can have a little catch.
Best first pitch ever, man. George W.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
After 9/11,
and that night, Braves Mets.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
The story, I still remember the story. First off, he's wearing a bulletproof vest underneath his jacket because he's stepping on the rubber by himself.
Did you remember what he said about his head?
No.
And they said to me, "You're wearing a vest," and he goes, "Yeah." And a sniper can get really accurate too. So,
oh, really?
So it might not do anything for him.
I didn't know that.
It might not mean anything.
And he said, "You think a sniper's accurate?
Yeah.
Watch this pitch."
But I remember the story is Derek Jeter said, you gotta throw a strike.
You gotta throw a strike.
Because it was the first game.
It was the first game,
and everybody's gonna be watching.
Bro, I'd be like, Derek, shut up.
Dude,
You're not helping.
Could you imagine? You got the bulletproof vest on. Post 9/11, all eyes are on you. You're the president of the United States of America after one of the more tragic events that happened in this country, and that dude throws a dart.
It was a perfect pitch.
Pop. Right down the middle.
Perfect.
Had some tail to it.
I've seen
it didn't.
Now I've seen the two. Yes, it did.
No, it was straight.
Dude,
No, it isn't. Go look at it. It does not. It just pulled it up. Connor, I would say though, having watched you and Andrew, without true warm up, be able to throw, I'm thinking you'd very well likely throw a perfect pitch.
Yeah.
As I call Connor out of the bullpen. And Connor goes up there and he puts. Sometimes Andrew, it takes you you're more like Craig Kimbrell. You put somebody on base,
and then I get to work.
and then you start striking people out. You load the bases up a little.
By the way, I just watched it too. It had some tail.
It did have some tail.
I'll do some research.
You just have to watch it.
Part of the tail was gravity.
It absolutely. Yes, but it definitely had a tail on it.
Had tail. By the way, our man Joe the Cynic. I know he's still.
Hi, Joe.
I know he still throws.
Does he really?
Oh yeah, man.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He's 52. He's still going low 80s.
Wait a minute. Really?
Yeah, man.
Okay,
and he goes 5-6 innings.
I need beer
on a given week.
I need a beer with Joe.
He said all these little videos of Ichiro since he retired shows the guy could still play better than 30% of the league today. Damn right, man. And the old argument is, would Ichiro be on a team today? Because he's not the typical boomer bust. You know, he just.
Oh, you mean like Ichiro?
Yes.
Yeah,
like,
yes.
absolutely.
Like Luis Ariz is the only guy that you can kind of be like, all right, he just wants to get a hit. He's not trying to hit doubles. He's not trying to hit home runs.
And here's the thing, too, is that I love it when Mike and Bill get into this. Last year, they got into this argument all the time. Like, Mike speaks almost derisively of Ariz. And what kind of guy is that? I think that guy is a difference maker, can be a difference maker on a great team. If he's got you have a great selection of talent. Having someone like him in your lineup is a fantastic option to be able to have that. But on another team, he's just a guy. Like, not just a guy. He's still one of your better guys.
But I'd rather have a team that strikes out 19 times and maybe hits a home run.
I loved that.
That's why I love my Philadelphia Phillies.
Well, when that stroke from Boehm yesterday in extra innings,
it's a good swing.
Man, that was a beautiful
Gapper,
swing.
man.
Beautiful swing.
That's a good swing.
He still runs like a giraffe.
Yeah.
But he got there.
He got the 2.
But he got there. Raffy got in there.
All right, what do we got? What do we got on the text line? Let's try to sneak in one more text for the key 3 here.
All right, we'll get one here with VT Ron, who says, Andrew, you're spot on. You know what Harper is, and you know what Schwarber is, talking about the projections that Mike and Bill were talking about, and Ray on Mike Missanelli's show yesterday. The rest of them, you're rolling the dice, including Turner. Just my 2 cents on the Phils, but they're a 90-plus win team either way.
Yeah, like I'll be honest, when I was listening to the projections yesterday, I've made the noises a million times. I was kind of like, that doesn't sound like that great. But like I know this team's good. But when you look at this team, you know Harper and Schwarber are studs. Turner's been disappointing, ultimately, in terms of the contract. Boehm, you're still trying to figure out if he can bring more to his game. I don't think that he can, but what he does
You
do
really
is...
don't think he can?
I don't think the power's coming.
Now, did you hear you say, because sometimes you tend to really watch more. I like a lot of listening.
Yeah, I don't pick up on the broadcast.
Kruk talked about it yesterday. He absolutely believes we are going to see, like I said this year, I think we're going to see 20 out of Boehm. He says
I would take 20.
He thinks 20 is absolutely, that might end up being his ceiling. But he said, yeah, I think he's going to be a 20 home run guy consistently. That it's going to come to that.
I just think
it's not that big a jump.
I think he's a high teens guy.
It's not that big a jump, though.
No, it's not.
Really
but he's 20. He's 28, right? Like it's not like that's.
No,
not,
I got you.
It's not changing. Like I don't think there's a power surge coming. I think he is who he is, and I think Real Muto's on the downslide. Kepler's an unknown. People don't like Castellanos for whatever reason. Stott's an average hitter, like hitting for average, and then Marsh is Marsh. And so you look at this lineup, it's very good. There's, other than Harper and Schwarber, like there are some lineups where it's like there's 4 or 5 guys where you're expecting monster things.
Yep.
Yeah, then the other 3 or 4 guys are not good.
Are really bad. Yeah.
Exactly. What would you take?
Yeah, exactly. All right, it is time now for the Kincade Salciunas Key 3 best minutes from today's show.
Now, the Kincade Salciunas Key 3, today's best.
Johnny, today's a day where I want this show to be as positive as possible. And I'm not trying to blow, smoke up anybody's skirt. I'm not trying to let's be positive for the sake of being positive. This team, as you said, it's going to be a very fun season, is very, very, very good. And as frustrating as the last couple of years have been, as disappointing as the lack of change with the roster may be for a lot of you, including us. I didn't like the run it back approach. You're still running it back with a 95 win team. And so yes, you want to talk about your concerns for the playoffs and all that kind of stuff. I understand it. I do. But for you to allow it to tamper with your opening day and the months of April, May, June, July, August, when it's just going to a ballpark. Thank you. Just going to a ballpark and watching the game. Just watching it from home. We talked about it yesterday. Also, the best background noise. You don't have to be locked in every single pitch in a game in May and June, but you hear the crack of the bat. You look over and you see Harper around the bases and you're celebrating. That's the beauty of baseball. It's a long season, and when you have a good team, which the Phillies are, it makes it that much more enjoyable. And I'm hoping we can try to kind of calm down the woe is me crowd that we've been dealing with since we've been talking about this team the last couple of weeks. Can you, and I know you can, and Connor, I know you can, this is more so for the audience that's like going into this season with just a horrible attitude. Can you, beginning today, before first pitch, just be along for the ride and worry about the playoffs when the playoffs get here.
How about with a caveat? Okay. See if this is a fair caveat. Can you agree to be along for the ride till Memorial Day? Can you give them 50 games?
I think we need more than that.
No, to be along for the ride, because if you're negative on this team, and where they're at, and you see the same old crap, and they haven't fixed any of these things that they swore to you they were going to fix. They swore to you. 17 quotes full, and I got them all. That they said they were going to change things up, do things differently. We got to do things differently. We got to be a different team. If I see the same team through 50 games, I'm going to tell you I know the ending. And I will say it just as defiantly as I said you guys were going to be working an Eagles pregame show.
We'll just get it out.
Sunday. Yeah, well,
that was yesterday's key 3.
What happened?
3 best minutes from yesterday's show.
That's a good way to do it, though. It's like a trip down memory lane.
It was such a good show yesterday that we just wanted to relive it.
A trip down memory lane. You see, Connor, much like Brandon Marsh in the outfield, we can't all be perfect. We cannot all be
Oh, we treat him like he's not perfect, or we treat him like he stinks?
Okay, let's be honest. Connor's going to take the bullet for me. I hit the wrong button. Brandon Gunn.
Oh, you did.
Yes, I did. Brandon Gunn sends it along. I hit the wrong button, and
way to go, John.
I do that. Connor tries to be the good soldier and jumps on the grenade for me, but it was me. So humiliate me and make fun of me with it.
You suck, John.
It was Andrew.
It happens. No, I wanted to blame Andrew, but he was in the room with me. He wasn't going to take it. That's the way it works.
By the way, a couple of things. So
Bob Kelly unavailable today, bro.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your retirement.
Thanks,
Bob.
Wish you all the best.
Would have appreciated a little earlier notice, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Go on.
It's Friday. I'm happy.
Go on.
The Brandon Marsh. You guys are really going to have to help me.
You're beyond help.
No. I promise you, Connor, how about this?
You guys really have to help.
I'll make a CT8. I'll make a JK11.
JK11 guarantee?
I'll make a JK11 guarantee.
Doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
Okay. A CT18 might even co-sign this one.
Okay.
By Monday, when it's opening day again.
Yep.
Well, it's
home
our
opener.
Even though
Probably Tuesday.
I'm hearing some whispers that we could know by Sunday that it'll be moved to Tuesday.
Yeah.
Brandon Marsh is going to give you some things to smile about this weekend.
A hit?
Multiple.
Okay. No, I literally said,
multiple.
Watch.
How about this?
He's going to have a good game tomorrow.
How about this? He's going to get on base 3 times this weekend.
Okay.
All right?
So
Saturday and Sunday.
So 8 at-bats to get on base 3 times.
He's going to get on base 3 times. I don't know how it's going to be, but he's going to get on base 3 times.
Yeah, get no guarantee for me.
No CT18 on that one?
Wow, not even a CT18.
I'll give you a JK11.
All right, can you give me a CT18 guarantee that'll play better center field, Mr. He's above average center fielder?
What, like over the weekend?
Yes.
No.
No, he's not.
I mean, he didn't.
Are you wavering?
Listen.
That's your boy.
What were the bad plays he made? He made the one bad play where he made a bad read on the ball.
There was 2 bad reads.
What was the other one?
There was another one earlier in the game that it was a blooper.
It's a blooper.
But he took first step back, and it was a noticeable blooper.
He on 2 balls that fell in front of him, he stepped backward.
Way back. Yeah.
I mean, it's like he didn't have it. Now, the shadows. We'll give him a little grace. Maybe shadows.
I'll give him grace.
Maybe
you
shadows.
also talk about fundamentally sound. The number one fundamentally sound thing is an outfielder. When you don't read it route, first step back. It's the first thing they ever teach you in the outfield.
Yeah, well, not in those.
He's a major league
if he thought they
player.
If he thought they were going to go above him, he needs to go to eye doctor. Please.
He's not playing in the 25 up South Jersey men's baseball league.
All right, you're trying to get me to guarantee something.
Philadelphia Phillies.
Hey, join our friends Davis CPA group, Ron Davis and his gang.
Dude.
Hey, they're the best, aren't they?
Finish the read. I'll tell you about Ron Davis.
American Association for Cancer Research is great people, and Ron loves to donate to them, and you do too. Go to 975thefanatic.com/AACR because cancer research saves lives.
By the way, Ron Davis, I went and dropped my taxes off the other day, and we couldn't find a babysitter for the tax, so we brought Coop. He was so nice to Coop. Gave him a piece of candy.
Well, that's because he's a grandfather.
And by the way, his office is a playroom for people of all ages because it's all Phillies gear, old school stuff, new school stuff, and Coop was just in awe. So Ron's a very
They're
good
the
man.
best.
Yeah,
they are absolutely.
And one more thing, as the Phillies beat the Nationals yesterday, the joke continues. People find the old tweet of beating Philadelphia isn't as hard as Philadelphians say.
Oh.
Since the tweet, the Nationals are 22-53 against the Phillies.
That's perfect.
With a run differential of -170. Thank you, Barstool Philly, for putting that out.
Gotta love that. I hope you guys have a great weekend.
I hope you have a great time in D.C.,
I'm sure
man.
it'll be a fun weekend. I can see there's going to be tons of Phillies fans.
Go get a dub.
If Brandon Marsh has a good game, say, yeah, way to shove it to Andrew. Good job.
So if I run into Fetterman or I run into Trump or I run into anybody have any messages you want me to deliver, just send them along.
Declare the Phillies World Series champions.
I'll see you at that Capitol tour and White House
leave
tour.
it at that. Yeah.
Take care.
Everybody have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you Monday.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phils win in extras. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies found a win on opening day. It did take an extra inning to do so. They won 7-3 in the 10th over the Nationals. They struck out 19 times in the game, which is not ideal, but the offense woke up when it mattered. They scored 7 total, and a bunch of those came in extras.